for you. Yeah, absolutely. And hello, ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between. Hi, how are you? Yay, I am Diana Clary and the Lavender Lady. This is the Open Chat. And with me, there is the one, the only, the brilliant, the beautiful Kate Farr Bionic Dance. Hi, honey, how are you?
Oh, I'm all right. I've definitely been worse. This is definitely a day where very little seems to have happened. And actually, I'm strangely okay with it. I mean, I've got a shot rendering for Quinn Redshift over here. But
Yay.
other than that, I've been playing video games and arguing with people on Steam. Actually, there's been less arguing lately. It's been a lot of Q&A, actually. We're talking about Cyberpunk 2077 a fair bit, and a lot of the stuff that is or isn't possible, and some of it's insider info, some of it's pure speculation, but regardless, it's been a pretty fun discussion, actually, rather than the usual, like, you usually see on gaming forums. So,
Okay, then.
yeah.
Oh, my.
Oh, speaking of which, I should probably pull up the chat, huh?
Might not be a bad idea, really. I mean, we have a new
Yeah.
person here. We have
Do it.
we have Quellen Sabahart. I'm not sure who you are, but thank you for coming by. It's always
Well,
great to have new people.
I don't have any idea how this person could possibly answer you, though. If they're that new, then they probably haven't even developed like basic digestive reactions, much less speech.
Yeah, there you go, there you go. And well, I don't know. Being deuterostomes as we are, the blastocyst develops backward, and
Rewind. Being what that we are?
deuterostomes. There are protoworstomes and deuterostomes. This is the way the very very young embryo begins developing. In a protorostome, the mouth opens first, and then the tube continues on down toward the other end. In a
That is the
deuterostome,
very first time I have ever encountered either of these terms, which is weird because I've taken enough biology that someone might have ever said it.
oh really? Okay, because
You'd think.
yeah, Arendt mentions those terms in his systematic classification of life series
Oh,
of
yeah,
videos.
that probably explains it. I watch very few of those. I mean, I
Move
love
beef.
art and everything, but I'm really here for, his atheism material.
Okay, there you go. But yeah, I mean, yeah, we are deuterostomes, and the hole that opens first is not the mouth. Okay, so as Aaron has said, there is a time in our development for a very brief moment that we are nothing but an asshole.
Well, for some people, that lasts a bit longer.
There you go. Yay! Oh boy, I Mage Grey Wolf. How you doing? Let's see what you have to say.
There's my Trey Wolfie. Hello.
Had a conservative arguing that George Bush Jr. wasn't a real Republican. I asked what defines a Republican, still waiting for an answer that isn't vague. Well, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Oh
Well, I mean,
my.
that's the problem. I mean, given how the parties have shifted positions from time to time, we all remember the Southern strategy, don't we?
Oh,
It,
indeed.
it makes sense that it's difficult to say what a fill in the blanker is anymore.
Yeah, I don't know how many times they've shifted position since 1965. I know it's more than once. Um, and well, there's the other thing. I mean, we want to talk the whole politics thing. Let's get the tire fix out here. And I'm going to say, right off the bat, that sorry, guys, everybody is cheering that Joe Biden's going to fix everything. I'm here to say, no, that's not going to happen that way. We've got a lot of work to do.
I'm a little confused by something you said.
That being,
The tire fix?
oh, that's the thumbnail pic for this
Oh,
thing. Somebody's fixing a flat with a can of Fix a Flat.
okay.
Yay!
See, sometimes you make references to things without context.
Well, that's the most fun, right? It leaves the other
Not
person on the
really.
other
It
end
just
saying,
it
"What the
forces
fuck are
people to
you
ask you
talking
what the
about?"
hell you're talking about is what happens. This,
Yeah, yeah, there you are.
yeah, but that gets old real quick.
Hi, Geo Sam. How you doing, honey? Yay, 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 yay. We got a whole bunch of people here. Yay, 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 yay. I'm weird. Okay, we already know that, right? And oh my, how many of us are going to be doing anything for Thanksgiving, even if it's all by ourselves?
Well, I think everyone's doing something for Thanksgiving, even if it's all by themselves. I mean, unless they're going to die.
Oh no, no,
Am
no!
I
I'm.
wrong?
You're not getting rid of me that soon.
Um, challenge accepted.
Oh my, oh my! No, I'm actually thawing a turkey because it's been up in the freezer, and you know how they have the turkeys in the netting, that plastic netting that goes over the plastic bag that goes over the turkey,
Kinda.
and then it's the handle on that netting is made with a tag, and the tag on my turkey read "best if used by June of 2020." And I said, okay, I think I'd better roast this thing.
Yeah. Waited a little bit, did we?
Well, it's been sitting in the freezer for most of a year. Probably tastes like freezer burn.
I could not identify freezer burn if I wanted to. Like, seriously, unable.
I wish I had the words for it because there is a flavor that things acquire when they've been up there and frozen a very long time. In a way, it's to my palate, it's kind of metallic in a way, but different yet. Because there was a piece of turkey left. It was a turkey breast from the last turkey I I roasted, and it's been up there for about as long as this turkey has. And yeah, it had that flavor to it. It wasn't horrible or anything, but it was just distinctive.
Okay.
So yeah, roast this baby, and maybe I'll make some turkey pot pie later. That'll be fun.
Turkey pot pie. I mean, I've had edibles before, but I've never thought about putting them into a turkey pie.
There we go.
I
Alrighty
mean,
then. Well, yeah, I mean, you can do all sorts of creative cooking with that stuff. A friend of mine used to do a sauce béarnaise with a strategic substitution for the tarragon.
so why on earth do they call it sauce béarnaise instead of béarnaise sauce?
I don't exactly know. It might have something to do with the French language somehow.
Hmm.
Because there are a bunch of sauces like that. I mean, sauce hollandaise is another one.
See, I've never heard that until now. I've only ever heard people say hollandaise sauce.
Oh, okay. That Prajna.
Seriously.
I must be from the really weird part of the world. Well, we already know that. Yeah. Oh my. What do you got going over there? Lone Wanderer says, okay, Bionic Dance. It smells like coolant and it is usually covered in more ice than it would have being in a freezer. Yeah, 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 it smells like coolant. Yeah.
Okay. I don't usually go around sniffing coolant either. I mean, am I supposed to?
I don't know, man. You know, maybe it really gets you out there.
Well, I don't know.
Oh, hi, Jackson. Jackson Heathen says, I'm not a Republican, but I imagine they have their own political platform, clearly describing their party goals, just like the Democrats do. I'm sure it's just offensive. Yeah,
Well,
there
that's the thing, though. I mean,
you
right now, there's actually, as much as there's sort of a civil war going on in the Democrat Party, there's one going on in the Republican Party, too, between like the Trumpites and the more moderate Mitt Romney sorts.
Yeah. I just didn't realize that there were any of the more moderate people left in the Republican Party. I truly thought they all went, but I guess no, not
Well,
really.
no, I mean, I think Mitt Romney might still want to be president.
Okay, then. Okay.
I'm just
Um,
saying.
I'm trying to decide if I could complain very vociferously about that. I don't know.
Well, he's a little more Mormon than I'd like, but I don't know. I mean, let's put it this way. Um, Given how Obama governed and the fact that he basically governed like an '80s Republican, I imagine that a Mitt Romney presidency would be remarkably similar to an Obama presidency.
And it's just shameful. Oh well.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's shameful on so many levels. Obama ran on change. He ran like he was going to be the next FDR, and he was lying out his ass.
Mm-hmm.
And believe me, if I ever meet the man, I'm going to give him a piece of my mind. It's gray and about this big, a little squishy.
Okay, fine. Yeah. Oh man, I wonder what a Secret Service detail would think of that.
Well, I mean, I wonder what they would think if I managed to like be in the same room with him and tell him that when his ignoble end finally comes, I hope it's broken alone and by his own hand. I can't imagine like they'd probably say, okay, that was pretty mean and we want to arrest you, but you didn't actually make a threat, so we kind of can't. Uh, but I imagine they'd want to. To be perfectly honest, I'd imagine they'd want to.
Oh my. And there's you go with the Secret Service detail is I'm wondering what does the current detail think of the guy they got to look after? Because I mean they've got to look after him even when this is over.
Yeah, that's a little disturbing, isn't it?
And I think the question's already come up. Do they have to look over? Do they have to look out for him while he's in prison if he gets there?
I don't know. I actually don't know how that works. I don't think we've never actually had a president go to prison, have we?
No, we have not. I mean, there are some who should have gone to prison, but none have.
I'm just trying to picture Trump looking for the biggest guy on his first day so that he can beat him up to prove he's best.
Oh, jeez.
To establish his dominance by beating up the biggest guy in prison. I want to see Trump attempt that because you know he will.
Oh,
He has
yeah.
to be the best at everything. That's like basically who he is. And the fact that you know that common prison trope of beating up the biggest guy on the first day, and there's no way he could do it. So I'm picturing him sending the Secret Service out to beat up the biggest guy on the first day to establish his dominance. I could see that.
Oh,
I don't
my.
know.
So let's see. Now, wait a minute. That's the interesting prison trope that you've got going over there. Because you've got, okay, the guy in prison who runs to the dominant character for protection and then becomes that dominant character's bitch. So would
Hmm.
Trump become, Secret Service details bitch or something? I'm sure they'd love that.
You lost me.
Yeah, if Trump ran to the Secret Service for them to beat up the biggest guy in the prison, does he now
Oh,
become the?
that.
Yeah,
No.
no, okay. I'm not sure they'd accept the position if offered, but still. Uh, and
Uh,
and they're still talking. There are still the speculations about Melania divorcing Trump.
hmm. I haven't actually heard anyone say anything about that wasn't intended as a joke.
Okay, okay. Um,
Hasn't happened.
I don't know what troubles she would run into because we all know that she signed an NDA, not an NDA, a prenup.
I know.
Yeah. So
I
what does she stand to lose? I don't know. Well, this is the thing now. it's a lose-lose situation because if he goes where
That's
he
it.
should go, then he's going to lose everything and she gets nothing. But if she divorces him, the whole prenup is in the way and she gets nothing. Can you just imagine her, being in having a beggar's bowl and alms for the poor, alms for the poor.
Well, I mean, I'm sure she already has money in a personal account somewhere.
That would be interesting to know, because I don't know if there would be any way that he could look over her shoulder and tell whether she was salting money away or not.
Well, I mean, I'm sure she has like an expense account. I don't know how much control Trump has over like the family's money, but if she doesn't have an expense account, and if, I'd be surprised. And like I don't know if Trump gives her an allowance or a stipend or something, but I mean, it's like I can't imagine he has 100% control over her funds. And so the idea of her taking some of that spending money and transferring it into an account bit by bit over time so that she has a nest egg just in case. I mean, hell, if I were in her position, that's something I would have done years ago.
There you go. It just amazes me that anyone would be in that position, as you say. Were you in her position? Um,
Mhm.
I mean,
It is hard to picture someone debasing themselves, lowering themselves that much to let Trump climb on top of them.
that's exactly the word I was going to use. Great minds think alike. Yeah. Um,
And what did ours do?
oh my harmonica man says I hope she does well from now on. I don't know.
I see, that's the thing, is I don't know either what I want for her. Because on the one hand, ew, Trump, but on the other hand, I mean, if she rejects him too and like leaves him broken and alone, it's hard to not respect her for it.
Yeah, in its own way, I suppose. Even were she to do it out of spite.
Well,
Uh,
what's wrong with doing things out of spite, I wonder? I know a lot of people will tell you don't, but a lot of what people will tell you with regard to things like that is usually what best serves the person who most deserves retribution. So, I mean,
mm-hmm.
I'm not super inclined to go with what everyone says. I mean, I actually personally do not see anything wrong whatsoever with revenge.
Okay, okay.
I really don't.
I mean, I cannot see anything wrong with it personally. I know many much people will tell you that, oh, it's a bad thing, bad, bad. You shouldn't be thinking about that. You shouldn't wish harm upon anyone. And it's like, why not?
Yeah, I mean, so much of like the do's and don'ts of society um, end up with the people who most need to be punished getting away with everything.
Mm-hmm.
And frankly, I'm not okay with that. People need to learn that there is a price to their actions, and sometimes it's too high for them to afford.
Okay, now Lone Wanderer chimes in. Barring an act of Congress, the responsibility of the Secret Service to protect a former president or first lady would not disappear because that person had been convicted of a crime. Well, yeah, I get that. But how do they fulfill that if that person is sitting in a federal prison?
Well, it might actually, that's the thing. Probably won't be a federal prison. If they get him for anything, it'll be local shit.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It'll be state charges. Yeah, 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 yeah. Sorry about that. Um,
Yeah. I mean, come on, man. What are you thinking? No, I'm just. Uh,
this is one I've got to watch really closely because I'd really like to see how this one works out. I remember Watergate, and I remember how disappointed I was that it worked out the way it did. That I mean, we did not know it at the time. We found out years later that uh, Ford pardoning Nixon was part of a deal to get him to resign the office.
Mm.
But a lot of us were so pissed off that Nixon got away with what he got away with. And I,
I'm s-
hmm?
still still pissed off that Trump was not properly convicted after his impeachment.
Oh, right, right, right. Well, I mean, that thing was a whole partisan zoo as far as that goes. It was right along party lines. I think Mitt Romney was the only person who broke ranks, right?
Yeah, yeah. There was only one. It was completely partisan.
And that amazes, well, not amazes, it makes me feel really,
Discussed.
thank you. That's a good word. I like that word, yes. It disgusts me because these people, if you want to call them people, I use the term loosely, put
Mm.
their little club ahead of, well, not only party before country, but I mean, before uh, a democratic
Justice.
system of government, justice, you name it. Yes, I'm not happy with that at all.
No, neither am I. It's like, well, you remember when Obama was president and the Republicans, the Congress, went into full on obstruction mode. I
Yes,
mean, they even tried to obstruct him with Obamacare, which was originally Romney Care. It
yes,
was Mitt Romney's idea before Obama glommed onto it, and they tried to block that. They take uh, every opportunity that they possibly can to make everything partisan, to make everything like, no, 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 we're not going to let you accomplish anything. We're just going to let Republican administration through. But we won't even do that if it means letting you get credit.
yeah, yeah. I
You know,
remember.
and that's the part that just drives me right the fuck up the wall, because it's like the whole screwing over the American people in the name of partisanship. It's like what Nancy Pelosi did with the stimulus right before the election. She's like, I can't hand Donald Trump a win right before the election, so I'm going to let all these people who don't have money, don't have shelter, don't have anything right now, to just twist in the wind to serve
Yeah,
my own political aims, my own
yeah.
political ends. And it's like, that is beyond contemptible, and yet hardly anyone's talking about it.
Well, right, because Pelosi is on our side. Fuck this.
Mhm.
And then I remember, well, George actually did say this. Former Ohio Senator George Floinovich went on record as saying, we were instructed, um, the word came down from Turtle Man, that no matter what the Democrats wanted to do, we were supposed to block it, even if it was for the good of the country. We had to
Mhm.
oppose it. Um,
Mhm.
and George was a decent enough person to hold that with distaste, but not quite decent enough to oppose it.
Well, I have to wonder, like, the problem is that if you oppose certain things, you lose all of your political capital. Like all of a sudden, no one will work with you. And that's part of what has happened to people like AOC, is that like, she's finding out you can't necessarily buck the party, can't necessarily buck the orthodoxy, because if you try, people get snarky with you, and all of a sudden you're persona non grata.
Yeah, but then I want to know how you do anything that is um, changeful, if you want to say it. That it improves anything. If you're locked into doing what the ruling group wants you to do in order to do anything at all, do
Well,
you
here's
is
the no. I know what, but nobody wants to hear it. It starts at the ballot box. You have to vote the right people in, and you have to do it all at once en masse. Otherwise, it's not going to be enough.
well,
I
okay, I
mean,
guess.
that's
Hmm?
that's the thing. Is as a Congress muppet, if you are saddled with an oppositional Congress, there's not a goddamn thing you can do. And the thing is, the ordinary citizens, when you try to explain to them, look, you have to vote in your own best interest, and your own best interest is not necessarily just eke Trump bad. They won't hear it. They'll tell you you're a traitor. So what it comes down to is that the electorate has to get their collective head out of their collective ass before anything's ever going to get done. That's the only way it's going to happen. But they keep refusing to play ball because they're scared of this or the other existential threat that happens this election and the last election, the election before that, and the ones that are coming up. Every time there's some reason why change has to come later.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
frankly, I'm sick to death of it. But people keep falling for the same garbage over and over and over. And if that's one of you, fuck y'all, get your head out of your ass.
Yeah, I want to know what's going to happen in 2024 because there is talk of the orange piece of shit running again. And
Yeah.
were he to run again, he'd have a pretty good chance of getting somewhere with it because there is that large, huge minority that is, fascist. Let's put it that way. Um, they want to
Well,
overthrow the democratic process, and Trump is their guy to do it. Now, whether
well,
he'll
I
be,
saw
hmm?
well, I saw an interview on Rush Limbaugh like less than an hour ago, I think it was, where this guy was no joke, like crying his eyes out, saying he'd die for Donald Trump.
Oh yeah, him. Hmm.
Yeah, and it's like, wow, you people are psycho.
Yeah, I don't get that savior complex. I really don't. And it's on both sides. Let's put it this way. It's more it's crazier in its own way on the Trump side. I mean, they are actually worshiping him as a god.
Mhm.
It's like Caesar. But the corporatist side has its own savior complex going on. How dare you speak ill of Joseph? One of these deals.
Mm.
Or how dare you not speak well of Joseph? Because, if you do not speak glowingly of him, that is opposing him. Oh, more.
It's worse than that. It's supporting Trump.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, yeah, the thing is, like, I look at all of you people out there who voted for Joe Biden and who were Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump bad, and that's the only thing you could hear. There was no nuance or any of that. I mean, I'm sorry, but all of you were part of the problem here. It's like you had to hear the message about why Biden was not the right candidate,
Mm-hmm.
and no
Mm-hmm.
one would listen. Nobody would listen. And it's just so frustrating to be the only sane voice in the room.
It really amazes me how people go on. I've heard the word landslide applied to Joseph R. Biden,
Both
and it
sides.
was
Both sides.
both sides. Well, I can see the fascists in their delusion saying that Trump won by a landslide, but Biden's win was anything but a landslide. It was
Mhm.
clawing tooth and nail all the way. Um, it only
But they're
broke.
going to take it as a mandate.
Of
The
course, yeah,
DNC is going to take it as a mandate, and it's like, no. The entire election was a referendum on Donald Trump.
yeah.
That's all there was to it. That's all anyone was doing was voting for or against Trump. Biden could have been fucking anybody.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like it didn't even matter to most people.
I don't know. Maybe I should have run.
And that's the thing is like part of me would like to have run in a weird sort of way, but another part of me knows just how much of a pain in the ass it is. Like the main reason I would ever not go into politics is I don't want to have to keep auditioning for my own job every couple of years.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
You
With
know, it just.
Yeah, and you're before a panel that is already aligned against you, because you didn't do
Panel or
exactly
no
what they wanted.
panel or no panel, that's not the point. My point is that I don't want to have to like campaign every goddamn time. That would just get so old
Old.
so fast.
Yeah, and it's well, I can see what's going to happen in 2024. When let's say he auditions again, which may or may not be, or at the very least, Harris decides to run. Um,
Hmm.
there's going to be obstructionism going on. It's already going on, and
Hmm.
because of the obstructionism, the Biden administration will not have performed to the satisfaction of the rank and file on the street, and you're going to say, no, we don't want this, and they're going to turn to the other side, and it's going to be, the populist Trump all over again, or whoever is taking his place. Um,
Well, I mean, it happens over and over. This is definitely nothing new.
yeah, yeah.
It's like you can argue and argue and argue for what's right, but no one will do it.
Mm-hmm. Uh,
Here's what the country needs, and they won't do it. And then when people get sick and tired of it not happening, they'll run to anybody with an even vaguely populist message, which in this case was Donald fucking Trump.
yeah,
And I mean, he was lying, he was full of shit,
of
but he was
course.
still arguing a populist message. And so, people voted for him.
Well,
But
the whole thing
now,
about that is that the other populist message was so vehemently opposed by the DNC. I mean,
which other populist? You
Bernie
mean like Bernie?
Bernie Sanders was the other
Tulsi and
populist. Yeah.
Kenny and all of those. Well, I mean, that's the thing. There were more. It's just they ended up out of the race a lot earlier. Like a lot of people looked at me when I was arguing as hard as I could for progressive candidates, and a lot of them were like, "You'll never be happy with anybody but Bernie." I'm like, dude, I would vote for Tulsi, and I'd hold my nose and vote for Yang. So that
Eh,
I have alternate choices. But what I wouldn't do is hold my nose and vote for more of the same. But that apparently was a pro-Trump position. So what you gonna do?
yeah. Well, anything that's not what they want is the pro-Trump position. And
Mm-hmm.
as I've said so many times before, um, the um, the opposition, the DNC, whatever it is, doesn't care whether they win or lose because they're comfortable no matter what happens.
That's the thing, though. They do care whether they win or lose. They care whether they win with a progressive or with someone who will further their own personal interests. They care a great deal about that. They'd rather lose to a conservative.
Oh yeah, well, I guess what I was really meaning was they don't count themselves as progressives. So if a progressive wins, they've lost.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, tayo karastu. Anyway, Mage says I would have held my nose and voted for Yang. Okay. Oh my, oh my, oh my. But I guess it's pretty much over at this point, is it not? The election is signed, sealed, and delivered. Is it's
yeah. But I mean, like,
that much is finally over.
I
Please.
mean, yeah, really, it is. Like hell, Trump's own team dropped about half of their own lawsuits,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm pretty sure it's a done deal at this point. Um, but I mean, there's this whole thing. Maybe you've heard it. Back to brunch, where it's like a lot of these people are going, okay, Trump's defeated. Now we can go back to brunch, and it's like, okay, but we kind of need you to pay a little attention for the midterms and then the next presidential election. You can't just go back to brunch as if everything was the same and nothing
Oh,
happened.
okay, okay. I have not heard the term, but I know what you're saying. You're basically saying what I guess what I've been saying is that it's definitely not time to sit back and relax
Yeah,
because it's
and
not over, not by a long
right.
shot. Yeah, 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 yeah,
But
yeah, 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 yeah.
that is a term now. Like you'll find it all over the place if you watch enough news. Is back to brunch. I think Democrats, not liberals. I don't remember. Of course, it doesn't help that the definition of liberal seems to have changed when I wasn't looking. But
Mm,
regardless, like the brunch Democrats are the ones who, like, they kept saying we'll push Biden left when he's in office, and now he's in office, and they're like back to brunch. But you said, and now you're not. Did
yes,
did
absolutely. And as you have said in the past, once he's elected, what reason has he to go
what
left?
leverage do we have?
Yes,
We have no
Marcolini.
leverage. We gave up all of the leverage uh, because we refused to withhold our votes because we wouldn't make Biden scared enough to come get our votes because he thought he might lose without them. We didn't do that, and every suggestion I made to do something even vaguely like that was met with, "Why do you want to help Trump?"
Mm-hmm.
Like there was
Yeah,
no will whatsoever to take a stand because Trumpity Trump, 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 Trump.
yeah.
And I don't know who the next big bad is going to be. I don't know who the next evil Republican is going to be, but there's going to be one, and they're going to be the reason why we can't, like, say, primary Harris, for example.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they're already waiting because I get the impression that most of them tried running in the primaries this last time around. Guys like
No,
Cruz or Rubio or that sort of
wrong
thing.
primary.
Say
Wrong
again?
primary. Wrong primary. I was saying primary Harris.
Oh, okay. I was answering the question: who's going to be the next big bad? Okay. Yeah, but
Hmm.
we cannot
Oh,
primary
but that
Harris.
wasn't that wasn't a question at all. That was just, I don't know who it will be. The question is, what can we do to get Democrats to get their heads out of their asses and actually fight? Was the question. I mean, because if you try to primary Harris, like I say, they will. And I'm saying Harris because let's face it, Biden not getting a second term. We
I
all
don't
know
think
it.
so
He's too
either. I
old.
mean, there's a very
But I
long
mean,
shot, but no.
but that's the thing, though. If like even if he lasts all 4 years instead of like dying in office or abdicating or whatever the fuck, one way or another, we're probably looking at Harris as the next candidate. But I don't think we can survive 4 years of her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we
Mm-hmm.
can survive 4 years of Biden. I don't think we can survive 8 years of like one or both of them. We need to primary Harris. That has to be part of the plan right now.
Yeah. Well, then there's the other thing. Let's get let's get Harris out of the running. Let's put somebody into that office who's fairly good for that office. But you're still not done because there's still a House full and a Senate full of people who are standing in opposition to whatever you're trying to do. You've got, as you've said before, you've got to do it all, or it's worth nothing.
Hmm. Yeah. Oh, and that's just something like another thing I kept saying is that if this was a chess game, most of the voters are looking 1 to 2 moves ahead when they need to be looking six down the board.
Yes,
But
yes.
again, explaining that to people just bounces right the hell off. I suppose partly because they're probably feeling insulted by it, but partly because I think they don't want to think that hard about it. I think a lot of them just want it over and to hell with the consequences.
Yeah, they keep forgetting that. I mean, okay, I don't want to sound trite, but I'm going to sound trite. That keeping a representational system, keeping a democratic process in place is not easy. It's a lot of work. You, what was it? Was it Jefferson? Or was it Franklin? The price of liberty is eternal vigilance.
Yeah, I've heard that one before. I don't remember who said it, and it doesn't really matter because the expression is what matters. But
Yeah.
um, I mean, it's still, I don't know. I people love to run on automatic, like I argue against all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and politics is just another case of people not being willing to do what they need to do because it's scary, boring, it takes effort, whatever. One way or another, they're like, nah, I'll vote and that's it. And but then they don't even listen. Like the sheer number of people who, when they're about to vote, the most they've done is look up the names of the people who are running. That's all they do. That's all the research they do. I mean, sometimes I wonder, I know that this would be weaponized against certain like ethnic groups or whatever, but sometimes I think there ought to be an intelligence test for voting,
I've
you
thought the
know,
same thing, really. Yeah,
because
or a civics test or something.
an aptitude test, something that weeds out the people who aren't going to vote intelligently, who aren't going to vote in an informed manner.
But then,
But like I say, that's going to be weaponized against somebody because let's face it, you'll get like a bunch of people going, well, it's our state's right to make the test ourselves for the voters. There won't be a federal one. And in that district that happens to be full of people who are a photo negative of the rest of us, that one's going to get the much more difficult test. Like, I don't know if you remember, I think it was for driving or something, they would give the people of color a completely different test. And it was like all
yes.
this random, convoluted, non sequitur shit. You just know that if there was an intelligence test for voting, someone would try to pull those shenanigans.
Oh,
And we can't have
absolutely.
that. We can't have
Absolutely.
that. So, I mean, as much as I like the idea of making people take a test in order to vote, there's no practical way to make it fair. And that's a shame.
Yeah, and then there's the other thing going on too, where, okay, even if there are some people out there who are willing to put the work into it, willing to do the research, and willing to get out and stand in line to vote and everything else. If you are preoccupied totally with eating, if you are trying to get enough wherewithal together, working three jobs to pay the rent and pay for the groceries, and you don't have time to do any of the things you need to do, that's not going to work either. And this is one of the things that the fascists seem to love to do. They seem to love to deny the everyday Dick and Jane the opportunity because they're too busy just trying to stay alive.
Well, I mean, that too. But I mean, part of it is more insidious, like gerrymandering, for example. Um, but I mean, yeah, it's like the sheer number of people who just plain don't vote is scary. But I mean, the fact that they don't vote, I'm not sure how much of that is really truly their own fault, and how
Mm-hmm.
much of it is just how worn down we all get by the system that throws us under the bus every chance it gets.
I mean,
You
how
know,
many?
like I can understand feeling like your vote doesn't matter. I can understand feeling like there's no point to it because it does feel that way no matter my way. And it's like maybe twice.
Yeah, and then there are those, no, you can't get time off work to go vote. You've got to work your 14-hour
Mhm.
shift for next to nothing. Yeah.
And no,
Um,
you can't vote by mail because that's going to be voter fraud and all of that nonsense.
yeah. Oh my, I would really, really like to see a move toward most of the voting, almost all of the voting being by mail, because you don't necessarily have to be physically present at the polls. You can do your little thing at home at the kitchen table and put it in the mailbox, and everything's fine. Um, I don't know.
I did that this year, and honestly, it turned into like this just absolutely painful experience simply because I didn't know a lot about the local races. And so I had to spend a lot of time flipping through the voter pamphlet, hopping onto Google, making sure that I was voting in a responsible fashion, all of
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
And then at one point I actually even called my dad to make sure that like it was okay that I was voting for a tax hike on property.
Oh, I remember you
Simply,
saying that. Yeah.
yeah, just to make sure. I was like, look, I know I'm not the one paying these taxes, um, but this is to help homeless people. Should I do it? And of course, my dad, being the hippie he is, said, oh, absolutely, we'll soak the costs. I don't care because it's helping people.
Okay,
You
move
know,
beef.
but at the end of about 2 3 hours, I was finally done filling out my damn ballot, and it was just like by the end I was just covered in sweat and tired as fuck because
Okay.
I spent so much time filling out that fucking ballot. And it was like a year's worth of homework in one night.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have to think back to a couple of elections ago when I convinced a friend of mine to come with me to do the voting thing, and I was so crestfallen when she's standing there at the ballot machine or whatever the fuck it is, asking me who to vote for. And it's like, honey,
Mm.
it doesn't work that way. And it's like, I'm never doing that again. Um,
Well, I mean, if someone asked me who to vote for, I'd be like, "Oh, yeah, like Bernie." Yeah.
well, the least she could have done was asked before we got there. She's standing at the voting machine. Now, if I say anything, go ahead and vote for this guy. I'm actually violating some law or regulation somehow because she's already standing there at the buttons.
That's a thing. I have never encountered a voting machine. Like it's always, here's a paper ballot, fill in the circle like it's the fucking SATs. Every time. That's the only kind of ballot I've ever filled out. I never even had the with the hanging chads. It's always
I
been
remember those.
so it's always been something you fill out and they feed it through a machine and it records your votes that way. It's never been, select your candidate, bleep, and I've definitely never pulled a lever.
Okay, okay. Cause I remember those pulling the lever though. When yeah, you'd be standing in front of this thing with all the little bitty levers. Okay, you do that, you do that, you do that, and then the big
Yeah.
one. You go, and it sounds like one of the old NCR cash registers. And you pull it down, and I think there was even a bell on it. Uh, it
Of
was
course,
about the size of my closet over there. Oh
of
man.
course, like levers are actually monsters from Legend of Zelda. What you're talking about is a lever.
Oh, okay then. Oh my
I still remember like Legend of Zelda when it was first coming out. They didn't know how to advertise video games yet for like Nintendo and all of those. And so the whole thing with Legend of Zelda was they had this guy with horrible hair and a big black, like, I don't know if it was a unitard or if it was two pieces or whatever, but he's just running around in this like completely dark gray room going Zelda, Zelda, like you're searching for Zelda. And then they would show little screenshots of the game, but in no way would the guy who's screaming like Zelda would he tell you what the game was. He didn't even say that like you're searching for a princess. It's just Legend of Zelda, right? And then at one point he's talking about like the monsters. Well, he's not talking about them. He's sort of reacting to monsters that aren't even there. And he's like, Octoroks, like that. And then at one point he goes, levers, ew, like that. And I mean, it's just this whole thing. And like, so now if anyone talks about levers, this is where my brain goes. It's to that old 80s commercial.
Okay, so not necessarily the pharmaceutical company, right? The Lever Brothers. Do you remember that one?
Not even a tiny, tiny bit. I remember Johnson and Johnson.
Oh, okay, okay. Lever Brothers must be older than I thought it was. Yeah, because that was one of the pharmaceutical companies in the deep, dark, distant past. And
Pharmaceutical? I mean, where do you have farms on your cuticles?
there you are. Oh,
It's a
that.
pharmaceutical company.
Okay, now we got it. Oh my. Trying to think of what it was that I lost it. I was gonna. Well, I lost it a long time ago. Yeah, I lost the point I had, so that's okay. No big problem. We'll worry about that later. Oh my! It was something in the side chat, and I can't make the connection. But oh my!
I can't even imagine if I'd gone to the polling place and tried to vote at an actual like voting booth, and then I've got all this like homework to do and just sort of standing there at
Oh,
the booth for ages. That would have been so suck ass. I mean, I'm willing to bet that there's someone out there who would have been like, this bitch has been sitting there for hours. Get her out of there. She's not voting. I'm willing to bet some asshole would have said that.
there you go. But yeah, the thing around here, in my neighborhood, I don't know if it's throughout Pennsylvania or if it's just Allegheny County. There's not that much homework to do. So many of the offices, there's no opposition. There's only one person running unopposed. So, so many of the ballot slots doesn't make any difference. There are times I wonder that, should I run for one of those offices? Um,
See, that's the problem also, is like if there was a way to run completely on the issues without people having to react to your personality necessarily, or hell, just react to, like your ugly mug kind of thing. Because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who are like, yeah, sure, I would have voted for Yang, except he's a foreigner. I bet you there's someone out there who was like, yeah, but I don't want an Asian president, or maybe I don't think an Asian president can be electable or any of that shit. So it's like I'm not sure that as a left-handed adopted multiracial lesbian atheist I could gain any traction. You know what I'm saying? It's
yeah, I
like,
get it.
goodness knows if people went searching for me online, they're going to find stuff that'll make them go, this isn't someone who's being presidential. So, I mean, I'm not sure how anyone can run in this day and age.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
I could just see it. I really could. For example, I could just see after your inauguration or whatever it is, rollerblading naked down Pennsylvania Avenue.
Well, that's the thing, though. I mean, like, I know that someone somewhere, if they were gonna do like interviews and debates and stuff, someone somewhere would be like, "Haven't you rollerbladed naked in parades as if it's this big, huge gotcha?" And
Yeah.
I'm thinking, how would I respond to that? Well, I'd lean into the skid, is what I'd do. Be like, "Oh hell yeah, it's a lot of fun. Have you ever been to the Solstice Parade? It's a blast." Because let's face it, most candidates would try to distance themselves from it, would try to be like, oh, I was young, I was stupid, blah 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 blah. None of them would even think to go, oh yeah, it was a lot of fun, have you tried it? No one would think of that. And I don't know how the public would react to it. I'm sure there'd be some prudish faction that would be like, well, we can't have a president who gets naked in public. But I'm sure there'd be others who'd be like, how refreshing. Someone who doesn't try to distance themselves from a past that might be a tiny bit hinky. How refreshing.
I know
At
that.
least I'd like to believe people are like that. I don't know. But there's so much in my past where I think I could never run for office because so much of this could be weaponized against me. And I'm wondering how anyone could ever run for office anymore, anyone younger than me, I mean,
Hmm.
because you remember how they tried to use against AOC the old like school video that she did of her dancing like the
Oh,
Breakfast
sure.
Club?
Yes, 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 yes,
They
yes.
tried to use that against her. And it's like, well, I just, I don't know. It's just I don't know how anyone can ever run again
I know Purple
just
told me
because
at
of all
one.
the skeletons in their closet.
Purple at one time told me, and he may have mentioned it on air as well, that he would occasionally think about running for office in Minneapolis the first time he lived there, and his way of doing things would be, well, we have this information on you and that information, and he would, yeah, okay, what of it? Or we have pictures of you with this person who is not your spouse and everything, and You know, what does your spouse think of that? And yeah, who do you think took the pictures? You know.
Well, I mean that is something because I was mentioning it before. When someone accuses you of something or makes a big deal out of something or whatever, ask them why they're bringing it up. Ask them why it's a big deal and make them explain it because a lot of them take it for granted. You know, a lot of them are like, oh, all I have to do is name the thing that I think you did, and everyone will hear the dog whistle that says, okay, this is bad. But if you make them explain it,
Hmm.
why it's bad, usually their explanation gets more and more absurd the more questions you ask until finally they've basically just owned themselves.
And of course, nobody gets that point, though. That's the thing is, you know,
Oh
they're
no,
sitting
sure
there
they
quoting
do.
themselves, and
Oh, sure they do. Sure they do. Oh yeah, if you ask force someone to explain their bullshit, a lot of people can smell the bullshit even at home through the television set. You know, all you have to do is make someone like explain in detail what their objection is to something that is otherwise very undefined. It comes across that they're bullshitting. Sure it does.
and then you've got the people who have like a certain demographic here in the U.S. over the last few years. Yeah, the person's full of shit. I'm voting for him anyway. You know, the person is a horrible thing. I'm going to vote for him anyway.
Yeah, but you know, those folks, I mean, a lot of them are voting for him anyway because they don't feel like they have a choice.
Yeah, like I guess you could say it, like the hardcore conservative Christians who were voting for him no matter what he did because they wanted Roe v. Wade overturned, and it looks like it's going to happen soon enough.
Yeah, I was
Um,
thinking of the other side, the people who voted for Biden, because a lot of those folks voted for him because it was him or Trump.
mm,
And so those were really the people I meant when I said people thought they didn't have a choice. Is, you know, when they say him or Trump, well, it's got to be him because Trump bad.
well, yeah, and I mean Trump is bad, but it's just I don't
But that's
know.
all they have.
Yeah, it's I wish that enough of us could be in a good enough position that we could weather the bad, but we're
Um,
not. I mean,
well,
we've been
even
beat down into the ground.
but it doesn't matter. That's the thing. Is one of the reasons I was so vehement during this election is because we're out of time with a lot of things. We need action
Now,
now,
well, we need action
and
yesterday.
we need action 30 years ago.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
every time I would say to people, okay, the next president is going to be doing things for the next 4 years, and that should be part of your calculation, all they would say is Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump bad. You know, it's like you couldn't talk to anybody because Trump was a magic word that would get everybody out of having to take an actual nuanced stand on
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
You know, like that, it gave them the opportunity to overlook all of, like, say, Joe Biden's shortcomings because Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump bad, and that's the only thing we care about.
And they're going on and on with their Trump ad too late in the process when it's down to two people, when it's down to bad Trump or bad Biden. You know, why not do that sort of thing earlier when there were more candidates from whom to choose?
Well, they were doing that, though. I mean, that was the whole thing about, like, oh, we need an electable candidate. You know, that's the whole thing was we need someone who can beat Trump, someone who's electable. And no matter how many times I would point out, okay, blue no matter who plus Bernie or bust equals a metric fuck ton of voters. Well, I just got shouted down every time I would say that.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's like the whole idea of safe and electable is so much bullshit, but you couldn't get people to hear that because Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump bad.
And safe and electable is going to be our, well, it probably already has been our end.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I don't know how long it's going to take, for example, for the entirety of Florida to be underwater. I don't think it's going to be 2100. I think it's going to be a lot sooner than that. Just 1 point.
Oh, well, a lot of scientists say we're already past the point of no
Yes,
return.
yes.
But even if we're not, Biden's 2050 plan is never going to work. I mean, hell, the Green New Deal said 2030, and even that was a tentative idea. Like even that might be too late, but it
Hmm.
might not. We're not 100% sure. But at least it gave us a fighting chance in ways that 2050 will not.
Oh yeah. And I don't know.
So,
Well, it's me and my defeatist attitude and all that. I know you're all going to tell me this, but I'm thinking if it could be swift, if it could be relatively painless, I'd like to see the end of humanity.
hmm. Well, I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. Like, how many Republicans out there have built themselves bunkers already? Like the billionaire class, I mean.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can assume that it is not a small number. And the nice thing about that, though, is what I'm hoping for would be that it would be bad enough that they couldn't stay in their bunkers until it was over. It would outlast
Well,
them.
sure.
So,
That's given already that it'll outlast them. That's a given.
mm-hmm.
But I mean, I'm sure they're like, sure, but we can still be in a bunker, so we'll live through it.
They're going to run out of food eventually.
Well, yeah, well, maybe. I don't know. I mean, what if their bunker includes some sort of greenhouse?
I don't know. Yeah, now we're getting into the realm of the science fiction. It would be interesting to explore.
Um, hmm, I don't know how greenhouses are science fiction, but all right.
I mean, implementing it, because it would be difficult to implement a greenhouse under, under 100 meters of ocean. Uh,
Oh, you said they're doing that.
but the way I understand it, it could be bad enough that throughout the globe, all you're going to have are a few islands here and there, as there were,
Oh,
say, in the Permian.
I'm sure they own a lot of islands, these people. But I mean, no, but I mean, seriously, it doesn't seem outside the realm of possibility for them to have greenhouses.
It'll be interesting to see because, well, I don't know. Given the way they think, maybe they'll build their greenhouses when it's too late. That would be nice.
Mm,
Let's get to
well,
work, and then it doesn't end. It doesn't work out.
I mean, goodness knows I've heard people talking about how we might end up having wars over water, which is a little scary.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I can see it coming.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, I wonder how many of these Republicans have stockpiled and are ready for the coming, like desert apocalypse. I mean, I'll admit, I don't know exactly what's coming, but I have wondered whether I should be armed for it.
Yeah, and that's a bad thing. You hate to think about that. You hate to think about being armed just to make it from day to day. But there it is. There is that possibility. And
Yeah.
even then, I mean, does it turn out to be futile? Too many of them and not enough of you. Uh,
Well, that depends on who we're talking about here. I mean, for all I know, I'm one of them.
well, somebody is going to think that you're one of them. Yeah.
No, but I mean, seriously, like maybe there's a chance that I will be in the dominant group. I don't know what these groups will be, if any.
Yeah, well, it's just basically where I was headed. I mean, there's always going to be somebody against somebody. And every one of us stands to be on the opposition. So, yeah.
Sorry, rewind. Every one of us stands to be on the opposition.
Yeah, in other words, it's possible that, well, not, it will happen that somebody is going to consider you and me to be the opposition. No matter what
Yeah.
they think, we're going to oppose them.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's always going to be that fight.
I see what you mean by that. Okay. Sorry, your phrasing was not how I would have put it,
Okay,
and it
okay.
was such that I didn't. It didn't mean the same thing to me. So okay.
Mage says if we get another stimulus check, yeah, I'm using it for a water tank to collect rainwater. Well, be careful. I forget where you live, but in some jurisdictions that would be illegal.
And honestly, like I've tried collecting rain, and the problem is it's polluted. And when they say acid rain, they don't mean what I was hoping. So,
Yeah,
um,
yeah, pretty much.
I was kidding. I've never collected rain like that, but it was still funny to say it.
Yeah. Because, for example, along the course of, is it the Colorado or the Rio Grande? I forget. You are not allowed to collect rainwater because that rain belongs to somebody else before it's fallen. Because of the
Now, how does that work? Are we talking? What are we talking? Like a Native American thing here?
not necessarily Native American. We're talking about political jurisdictions in the Southwest. That
What?
there are water distribution deals that distribute more water than is available to be distributed already.
So it's not a spiritual thing. It's not this belonged to the great whatever in the sky. Then
Right. It's overbooking basically.
overbooking.
Yeah, I mean, overbooking is you sell more seats than you have.
Right, but that doesn't explain the part where I'm confused.
Well, basically,
Because
what
said,
they're
no,
selling.
let me explain the part where I'm confused. Because you said that water belongs to someone else. How does that work?
Yeah, because there's the water has been assigned, sold to someone or assigned to someone or whatever you want to call it, without it
Oh,
without existing. So
I
the
don't see their name on it.
so the rain is pledged to somebody else before it falls out of the clouds.
I don't see their name on it.
Yeah, but it's the way the contracts are drawn up.
Well, that doesn't make a lick of sense at all. I mean, how can that even be enforced, really? Show me the deed on this rain, please.
Let's see.
Well, no, I mean, hold on. Let me clarify before you go looking shit up. Um, like I can picture the police going to someone's house and saying, "Oh, look, rain barrels." But what I mean is, like, how can you point at that stuff and go, or like, say this belongs to someone else? How can you like if someone were to hold up a bucket of water and say, "Show me the deed," what would they do?
Well, this is this is where I've said, and people have looked at me like I have three heads, that the law is whatever legislators want it to be. So you don't
Right.
have to have any rational basis for any of this. You can't collect
Well,
rainwater because somebody we have over here. Um,
okay,
okay.
hypothetical scenario though. I mean, suppose someone has a barrel full of water and someone, a cop, someone Snoopy, whatever, comes by and sees that it's full of water. And they assume that it's rainwater. And so the cops come by and they go, "Look, water in a barrel that's outside. Therefore, we prosecute you." I mean, but how do they then show where that water came from? How do they know that you didn't get it out of a river or that you didn't go to the store and buy a shit ton of those water cooler bottles and put them in a much larger barrel for whatever purpose. How do they prove whose water that was? That's my question.
Because they don't have to. From an
Well, in a court of
article
law, they fucking do.
from an article entitled "States Where It Is Illegal to Collect Rainwater 2020." Here's a paragraph here. In Western states, restrictions exist because old water laws stated that all precipitation belonged to existing water rights owners. These laws were known as prior appropriation or first come first served laws for settlers in the old West.
Well, it's
That's
ludicrous. First come, first serve is the person who gets the water first.
well, I mean that's what I was citing basically there, where
Okay,
that's what they're
that's
using to defend their claims.
okay, but that still doesn't answer my question, though. If you come to someone's property and they have a barrel full of water, but you don't necessarily see any kind of water collection apparatus, how do you determine where that water came from enough to prosecute someone?
The only thing I can come up with is that they see a barrel and they say it is a barrel, therefore we have decided that it is rainwater collection.
And yet, without probable cause, without any actual, like, let me put it this way, if it came before a jury, how many jurors would necessarily go, yeah, I was collecting water right there? And how many would say, don't be fucking stupid, we have no way of determining this?
Well, now you're into jury nullification, and that's its
Well, no,
own can of worms.
okay, but the point is that like, okay, leave aside the cynicism for a minute and think purely scientifically, how do they prove it?
Well, that's the point. Nobody's scientific about any of it. I mean,
Yeah, I don't care.
least of all the
Care.
lawyers.
If they had to, how would they do it?
They couldn't, but they
Well,
wouldn't.
there we
But
go.
they wouldn't
That's the
have to.
well, sure they would. I mean, let's put it this way: if I was in the situation of the person being accused, believe me, I'd be making a gigantic stink about how much they couldn't prove it. I mean, a gigantic public, I want to be interviewed by everybody stink about the fact that they were essentially saying, well, we get to decide this without any actual evidence, without any, oh, what's the term I'm looking for? Not just cause. Maybe it is just cause. I don't know, but they clearly don't have the evidence they need to be able to properly pursue it. They clearly don't.
Yeah, they lack probable cause. Yeah.
Yeah, so being able, like, I think that you should be able to point out to a judge, to an actual reasonable, impartial judge, that they're fucking up, that they're not like going through proper channels, not doing the proper procedures, and thus the case should be thrown out no matter what, because they don't have the evidence, they don't have the data,
In
they can't.
in this article, they're listing various states, and one of them is Colorado. According to House Bill 16 1005, residents are allowed to collect rainwater in 2 rain barrels with a combined capacity of 110 gallons. The collected water can only be used on the property where it was collected and for outdoor purposes. How do you establish any of that? Yet, there it is. It's like walking a chicken without a leash.
I mean,
But
outdoor purposes, what does that even mean? I mean, are they talking you can only water your garden with it? You can only use it for your koi pond? What? Like you're not allowed to drink it?
sounds like
Or
it.
you can drink it as long as you're outside.
Yeah, maybe that's it. There you go. Have it for
I
your
mean,
lemonade stand.
so extraordinarily stupid.
Oh my, what do we have here? I'm looking for some of the other southwestern states going on here.
You know,
Okay, NB 74 allows for rainwater collection under the grant of a water right. This is in Nevada, which must be used for intended purposes or risk being revoked. Assembly Bill 198 states that the Legislative Committee on Public Lands will review alternative sources of water, including rainwater harvesting.
Okay, there was part of that that I was confused by. It has to be used for intended purposes. Who
Yes,
determines that one?
I have no fucking idea.
And I mean, oh yeah, I intended to use this to conquer the earth with my giant ice machine, and I'll be using
I love it.
purpose. That's its intended purpose, and I will be using it for that. Prove me wrong, kind of thing. It's like, it, how do you prove like that someone wasn't using it for intended purposes, or is there another like article or page of this bill somewhere that describes all of the terminology being used?
Oh my, Utah's a whole bunch of fun.
Mm,
Rainwater harvested is allowed on land owned or leased by the person responsible for the collection. Additional regulations exist, according to Senate Bill 32, depending on if a person is registered with the Division of Water Resources or not. A person who is registered may store no more than 2,500 gallons of rainwater, and a person who is unregistered may use no more than 2 containers at 100 gallons or less per container. Yeah, how do you go about establishing who's doing what and to whom for how much? You really can't, but it seems that somebody thinks they can.
well, I mean, at a certain point, someone would probably say, hey, you're collecting rainwater by letting it fall on your plants.
Eh, might
You
get to
know, like,
that.
like
Might get to
there's
that point.
like there's your garden, and it's got plants in it. They're collecting the rainwater. They're your plants. Therefore,
Mm, I'm in
I could
luck.
see that.
Here in Pennsylvania, rainwater harvesting is legal and encouraged.
Wouldn't shock me if that were the case in Vermont as well.
We're gonna to see on the thing for to you is on the thing. Vermont. All they say is harvesting rainwater is legal. There we are.
Of course it is. I think that there's just something wrong with the very notion of not letting people collect rainwater. That's just, I mean, that there's no way that should be illegal. There's no way that naturally occurring act of God shit should be illegal. I mean, someone
Uh,
make that make sense to me, please, if you can.
yeah. Well, it's not gonna be. Nobody's gonna make sense out of it. Nobody can. But I mean, there
I
is
mean, like,
so much already where there's no sense to be made of it, and it's still enforced.
I mean,
Um,
what if like someone wants to do like a garden and they collect rainwater to water their plants, but they don't like use the hose water? I mean, what do they have to use the hose water so someone can charge them for it? Is that the plan? Because I
um,
have heard, I wish I could remember the specific example, but there was something once where something was made illegal specifically to force people to pay for it instead of doing it for free, whatever it was.
I can imagine that would be happening in more than one case. Yeah. Um,
Right. Well, but I mean, I'm trying to remember the specific case that popped to mind because there was something where I was like, oh yeah, that. Hello, Columbia. You want food way early, don't you? You want food almost 40 minutes early.
my oh my oh my. Yeah, I don't see.
Actually, I'm a
I'm
little
using the wrong
surprised.
keywords here, but unless some
Like,
shit has changed.
look at how close the cat's are
Oh, oh
together. Like,
my, oh my, oh my.
they're that close without murdering each other. That's kind of new.
Did they get into your edibles?
No, no, my edibles are over here. They're hard to get at. But also, I don't think like okay, what I have right now, they look kind of like fruit roll-ups with coconut on them, and they're actually kind of gross. Like there.
Oh my.
Yeah, it's like some weird, uh, well, they call them fruit slabs, right? And this particular flavor is something like mango. Here it is, mango Maui Wowie. Mango Maui Wowie.
Oh my. Is that still
So,
around?
yeah,
I
Maui
remember. I
Wowie. Of course
remember
it is.
Maui Wowie.
Of course it's still around.
I mean, I was going to say that to me looked like somebody smashed a tomato and then let it dry out. But
It's kind of similar to a fruit roll up.
okay then.
You've had fruit roll ups, I'm sure.
Probably somewhere along the line. I haven't run
Okay.
out.
You've seen commercials for
Yes,
fruit roll ups.
I haven't run out to buy any.
Well, the
But
point was that you could identify them on site if you had to.
yes, yes. As a
Have
matter
you
of
ever
fact,
had fruit leather?
I don't know that I've ever eaten fruit leather, to tell you the absolute truth. And one of the other things is, I certainly have not placed an apple on the pavement and then rolled it up to something else. That would be rolling up a fruit. Yeah. Yeah, I know, I know. Wah, 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 wah. Scheiße, scheiße,
A,
scheiße.
a ticket to Pittsburgh would be really expensive, and we're in the middle of a pandemic. Not as expensive as hiring a hitman, but I have to make do.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Speaking of apples, yeah, maybe tomorrow I have to buy another bag of apples. I've been
Um,
eating apples, which is a good thing. I mean, I don't mind apples. I like apples and
ew,
everything else.
ew, gross. Sorry, go on. She sneezed on my elbow, and it was
Oh,
really wet.
moof beef. The one thing I want to make sure, though, I don't want to eat up all the apples before I can bake them into a pie. So maybe I'll get
Mm.
another bag of apples so, I have. And then the other thing I want to do, as long as they don't close the state stores on me tomorrow, is pick up a split of Captain Morgan. I'll make you happy there. And, one of those 375 milliliter things and get a six pack of Coke and see what we can do with it. Um,
Ooh, you know what's great is you can get Mexican Coke here. You know, the stuff that's made with actual sugar
yes.
and
Oh, man.
Mexican Sprite for that matter. So
Oh,
that's
my.
pretty cool.
Oh, my.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Like you talking about making this apple pie thing. You know what my favorite kind of pie is, right?
Of course.
But yeah, I like pumpkin pie actually, even though I've never pumped my kin.
Oh, my. Oh, my. I'm trying to remember if this is the real thing or not. I've heard somewhere that
What?
when you go to the grocery store and you buy a can of canned pumpkin, that's actually
Mm,
not pumpkin. It's actually
so I,
some other squash. I don't know if that's
I
true.
don't know.
I don't know if that's
It's
true
like
or not.
seems like everything is substituted for something else these days.
Mm, that's something else I have not done. I have not made a pumpkin pie from an actual pumpkin. One of these
Not even
days.
sure how. I'm not sure which bit. Like, do you use the rind? Do you use the inner stringy bits? What do you use to make pumpkin pie?
My understanding is that you get rid of those inner stringy bits, because that's where the seeds are attached and all that other stuff, and then you use the whatever it's called,
The rind.
that fleshy stuff that's right under the skin.
So the rind.
I don't know. Is that the right? If that's called the
Well,
rind, that's what I need.
even if that's not the official term, as long as we're communicating, it's the term we'll be using
Okay,
because
fine.
it's
Okay,
it's
fine.
because now everyone knows what someone means when they say it. That's all that's important.
Yeah, yeah, and I guess
Unless they pronounce something funky, in which case lock and load.
there you go. You wouldn't be referring to anybody in particular, would you?
And I might just stick with this, but I'm not saying I'll apply it where most people expect me to.
uh,
Gentlemen, Morgan, that's what I'll put that. I'll pop you right in the snoot with me paddle. What? What?
okay, here
Come
we go. How to make pie filling from a pumpkin. Um, okay, I don't know if that's. How do you
on.
make pumpkin pie
That
filling
wasn't expected.
from scratch? Okay, here we go. Oh my, oh my. It looks interesting. I may have to try that out. Where is that ingredient list? Damn it. It disappeared. I know it was in there somewhere. It looks better than. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Okay.
It's funny when someone comes into like a message thread that's about half a month old or so, uh,
Okay.
and they start answering a question that was in the opening post that's been answered like 8 pages ago.
Well, I've
It's
seen.
like,
I've seen that
really
done.
think you have something new to contribute, do you?
I've seen that done with posts that are over a year old. You
Oh,
know,
someone replied to something I'd said on a YouTube video from 5 years ago, and I'm like, really?
no, that
Really?
I was
But I
get.
mean, in this particular case, it's like seriously, we not only it's not only asked and answered pages ago, but we've moved on to so much other shit that I'm like,
Mm,
I understand you don't have time to read 8 pages worth, but just because you want to be part of it and think you have like seriously, the sheer number of people who will answer a question that's been long answered just to show off that they know the answer and for no other reason. It's like you didn't add anything to the convo, did ya?
yeah, moo. Okay, I'm disappointed in this particular thing. I was looking for making pumpkin pie from scratch, but they're talking about canned pumpkin here. This is not a good thing. So, wait a minute. How about this? No, this is canned organic pumpkin puree. I want to know how to make a pumpkin pie from a pumpkin that I cut free of the vine. That's what I
Okay,
want to know.
well, um, I see a recipe for it on YouTube, and the thumbnail is someone with a gigantic ass knife slicing into a pumpkin.
Oh
So
boy, that's a good start.
let's see. Okay, here we go. I've found one. It says here. Yeah. Where's the how to part? Um, Okay, to make pumpkin puree from scratch, cut a medium small sugar pumpkin in half. Scrape out the insides, reserving the pumpkin seeds to roast, and discard. Line a baking sheet with silpat, whatever the fuck that is, or foil. Place the pumpkin halves cut side down on the lined baking sheet and bake at 350 degrees Fahrenheit until a fork can easily pierce them, about an hour to an hour and a half. Remove from oven, let cool, scoop out the pulp. Alternatively, you can cut a, that should say alternately, I think. You can cut the pumpkin into sections and steam in a saucepan with a couple of inches of water at the bottom until soft. If you want the puree to be extra smooth, press the pulp through a food mill or chinois, what the fuck? Okay. So yeah, apparently that's how you do it. You
Oh, so
got that right?
that sounds a lot like baking a butternut squash, which I will be doing in a couple of days. Okay, so yeah,
Do
because
they
what?
make did squashes have testicles made of butter?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my, because I've got a butternut squash up in the basket over there, and it's gonna cut it in half, scoop out
Half an
this,
hour, Columbia. Sorry, go on.
cut it in half, scoop out the seeds, and then upside down on a baking sheet in an oven until it's soft, and then butter and brown sugar, and then just sit there and eat it. Yum 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 yum.
Hmm.
Can't get enough squash.
It's true. A lot of these don't seem to mention making the actual filling.
Yeah.
They all seem to be talking about buying the stuff you get at the supermarket there. Um, you can make the pie dough ahead of time. Okay.
Yeah, you
Um,
can.
see, it says use really cold butter. Okay.
Okay.
Brown sugar. How come you taste so good? Anyway, um, cool it like you would cheesecake. Fair enough.
All right. Sounds good to me. I
Let's see.
like it. Yeah.
Ingredients for the filling. Oh, a can of pumpkin puree. So, not how to actually see what I typed in was how to make pumpkin pie from a pumpkin, and so few of these
Right, because that's been happening to
yeah,
me
but
as
there
well.
are
Yeah.
some is the thing. Like here we go. Ingredients: a pie pumpkin. See step one. You can use different types of pumpkin or even a butternut squash. All right, so get your pie pumpkin. Prepare the pumpkin for cooking. So yeah, it's all about the outer bits. Looks like scoop out the seeds, scrape the insides, doesn't really say anything like I would have expected if you were gonna do this and make the puree, you'd like boil it or something.
That's what
Oh
I
wait, here we
thought.
go. Puree the pumpkin. To get a nice smooth consistency, I use a Pillsbury hand blender. By blending it, you give the pie a smooth, satiny texture rather than the rough graininess that is typical of cooked squashes. A regular blender works too. So yeah, they do talk about actually pureeing the fuck out of it. That first thing I saw didn't it seemed to not mention like the first recipe didn't mention actually blending it together to make the puree. It just said
Hmm. Hmm.
cook it.
Yeah, I didn't know if you were supposed to add anything to the pumpkin, as you were blending it and all this other stuff and that sort of thing. And my whole thing was I said that I can't trust that the cans contain actual pumpkin. The thing you said there. Even a butternut squash. Okay. I mean, do you have
Well,
butternut squash in the can? I
well,
want
I
to
mean,
know if it tastes different.
you can always look at the ingredients on the can.
Te Petroshka Polyi. Yeah. And then what am I? Oh, I see what you're doing. Okay.
What?
Sylvia was screwing around with the box that my uh, table elevators came on. They look like those road cones with the top truncated, and you lift your table up and you put them on four of those, and the table stands higher than it used to. Uh,
So, okay, here's a website. What's actually in your canned pumpkin puree? It
oh boy.
says so let's see. What exactly is in canned pumpkin puree? It sounds simple, but what's inside might just surprise you. That's right. Some canned pumpkin puree is actually made from one or more types of winter squash, like butternut Hubbard, Boston marrow, and golden delicious. I thought those were apples.
So did
These
I.
squash varieties can be less stringy and richer in sweetness and color than the pumpkin. So why does the label say 100% pumpkin? The USDA is actually pretty lenient with its distinction between pumpkin and squash. Here's their take on the contents of canned puree. The canned product prepared from clean sand, properly matured, golden flesh, firm-shelled, sweet varieties of either pumpkins and squashes by washing, stemming, cutting, steaming, and reducing to a pulp. Okay, the term pumpkin can apply to two of the three varieties of winter squash, C. pepo and C. maxima, whatever the frill those are. Within these two varieties, you'll find I see, Connecticut field pumpkins. That's probably where the C comes from. Dickens pumpkins and Kentucky field pumpkins, as well as Boston marrow squash and golden delicious squash. Okay, yada yada yada. So even though the ingredient label may read 100% pumpkin, there may also be squash mixed in because they fall under the same genus. So what to buy? It says that's entirely up to you. If you want to be sure the puree you're using is 100% pure pumpkin, you've got two options. First, opt for buying the Libby's brand, which you'll find on the shelves of most grocery stores. They use a strain of Dickinson pumpkins with especially creamy flesh that the company developed themselves. It's also interesting to note that this variety more closely resembles a butternut squash than the orange pumpkin on your front porch. And if you really want to be absolutely sure you're using pure pumpkin puree, you can always skip this canned stuff and make your own. I knew that was going to be option two.
Mm. Yeah, this
So
Yeah, the C that you were mentioning that you didn't know quite what the fuck it
You can't
was.
let one go, can you?
Say again.
I said you can't let one go, can you?
Oh my, no, that's the genus name. Looks like
Genus.
Cucurbita.
Since when is that pronounced genus?
I don't know. So you've got Cucurbita pepo, and okay, that's the field pumpkin.
So
What phylum is a pumpkin? You've got to be kidding me.
what?
Somebody
Why not
asks the
ask?
question, what phylum? Yeah, I mean, it's Kingdom Plantae, but, well,
Well, species, genus, phylum, all of that shit. Most people can't keep track of which one is what.
and it
Family,
doesn't,
order, all of those. I mean, like the order those come in, which one is like higher on the hierarchy? Most people can't keep track of that.
it doesn't mean anything anymore. I mean, geez, Linnaean taxonomy is so passe.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Oh,
Actually,
my.
it does say here. Let's see. The classification of pumpkins is Magnoliopsida. Magnoliopsida? I don't know. Species, it says here, species of pumpkin, Cucurbita pepo, I guess. It sounds Italian. Let's see, its phylum is Magnoliphyta. Yeah, yeah. Ow! Columbia, no claws. No claws. Silly kitty. Genus Cucurbita. Let's see. Subkingdom. Wow, I didn't know pumpkins were submarines.
There you are.
Subkingdom is Tracheobionta, apparently. And they belong to the kingdom Plantae, of course. And order. The order of pumpkins is violets. Well, oh no, that's not a T. That's violales, apparently.
Oh,
This is
my,
the
oh,
order
my, oh, my.
of plants. I don't know, Violales. I'd pronounce that violales, wouldn't you?
I think maybe. I want to know: are they related to the plant in the Little Shop of Horrors?
Probably not. Huh. That word does not appear in the dictionary.
Moo.
Stop that, you. Don't you hate it when you're like trying to click on something, but if your mouse goes too high, something pops over it, so you have to
Yep.
move the mouse?
Yep. Mm-hmm. And if
Um,
there's anything I can't stand, it's clicking on one tweet in the twatters and then going back with the intention of clicking on the one that follows, and then the whole page shifts down in the middle of doing it. Yeah.
Well, that's not so bad on Twitter because Twitter makes sure you don't lose your place. Do it on Facebook, you'll never find the fucking post ever again.
Okay then.
Like seriously, because Facebook is not organized like linearly by time chronologically, the way that Twitter is. And so if you surf away and then surf back onto Facebook, the page you're looking at will be completely different. And good luck finding that post you wanted.
I mean, I run into that sort of problem on Twitter many much. And I have to give up looking for anything um, until it turns up. Like a day and a half later, it'll turn up, and sometimes. Tabi de
Let's
gasa.
see. Okay, hold on. Hold on.
To what?
Your hat.
Violence.
Okay,
Violence.
it is violales.
Yay.
Violence.
Well, I was curious, and now I know.
Yellow? Blue?
Uh, um, sorry, I'm keeping track of something, and I forgot to add one. So
Violales.
okay, that's two sites that say it's okay. So I guess I was right the first time. I like being right.
Well, I don't know. I lean left myself, but. slightly to the left of Bernie Sanders, but that's another story entirely. Um,
I don't know why. For some reason, that reminds me. You ever see Liar Liar, the movie Liar Liar?
I haven't seen it. I know it exists.
Do you know the
Jim Carrey.
premise? Yeah, do you know the premise?
Not really. No.
Okay, Jim Carrey plays a lawyer who basically lies for a living, and unfortunately, he does it in his family life as well. His son makes a birthday wish that his dad can't lie, and it does not go well for him.
Okay then.
Well, at one point, he's like getting off the elevator, and someone says to him, like, I forget the actual character's name. So it's like, hey, Jim, how's it hang? And he goes short, shriveled, and always to the left. Just keeps, okay, why do my knuckles keep cracking when I do that? Like
Well, I
every
mean,
time, just well, okay, this time not so much. I guess I have to wait. But every time I clench like that, they crack. It seems like.
Amiga, I haven't gone onto Facebook in I don't know how long. It's been a good long time.
Okay, Facebook has a search function, but given how many, like, I have about 3,000 Facebook friends, like 3,300 or something. And so, like, finding stuff with a search is going to be hard to do, especially if what I'm looking for is someone who posted a picture without a comment.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, just saying. And I am currently at 3,351 Facebook friends. So,
I don't know how many I have. It's not that many, I can tell you that now. As
well,
far
I
as
don't
mhm.
go on.
As far as Twitter followers, I've got about 2,900, just short of 3,000.
Oh, well, you've got more than I do. I've got 2,604.
Oh my! Get to work there, lady.
Hey, here's something. Scotland has apparently become the first country in the world. It says to make sanitary products free, but the picture is clearly Tampax. So,
Oh my! Hey,
yeah.
one
So,
of those
yep.
things you
And
really need to
they
think
are,
about.
it's not like you say sanitary products, but they do mean like
Right?
feminine hygiene.
Yes.
They do, well, I mean, because they could have meant tissues. They could have meant like toilet paper as well. But if you read the actual like beyond the headline, it'll say free period products are available to anyone who needs them. So go Scotland, I guess.
I mean, I would really like to see something like that happen here in the U.S., but of course, here in the U.S., nobody wants to give anybody anything because they think they don't deserve it. But um,
Well,
I
that's
mean,
just the right, you know.
they've got the food stamps out there and everything, so they've taken one step. But there are certain things without which life is, less than comfortable, and feminine hygiene products. That's one of the things, or things like ass wiping paper. That's another one. And I mean, years and years and years ago, I fronted the idea of I'd really like to see necessity stamps. If you had to go and list the various things that you could buy with them, so be it. But yeah, but no, nobody ever got that idea.
Well, I don't know. I mean, let's face it, lady parts are a bit high maintenance.
A bit.
It is kind of a like a hidden tax almost.
Yeah.
And given that women still make less than men,
Yeah.
although I mean, like, okay, I kind of understood something that someone said that made sense, but only if we lived in a world where everyone's straight. Namely, that sure, women make less than men, but men often have to buy all the meals when you're dating. And I'm like, well, maybe that might be true for straight people, but it's still unfair to lesbians if you make us earn less,
There
just so
you
that
go.
um, so that you can even it out between dates and well, but I mean, even then, that's still kind of a sexist argument to say, well, men should make more than women because men have greater expenses. Because let's face it, again, women have to buy all of the like the feminine hygiene products, and God forbid you ever get pregnant, because that shit's expensive
Oh
and all of that.
man,
There are so many ways that being a woman is extraordinarily expensive that men won't ever get.
I don't know if this is close or far away or whatever. I think at one point recently I heard something to the effect of $30,000 to deliver a kid in a hospital.
Something like that.
It's like,
Well, I
wow.
mean, because there was that whole thing going on right before the election, and when the argument was still about Medicare for all, when people actually thought that might turn out to be a thing, where they were interviewing all those people in the UK and asking them, like, how much do you think this, that, or the other thing costs in the United States? And watching them all be blown away by
Mm-hmm.
how much it fucking costs.
Oh man, I mean, when I got the well, I didn't get the bill. I didn't have to pay it, but the itemized receipt or whatever it was for my biopsy, uh, the whole thing ended up costing something like $13,000 or so. They said, just for shoving a needle into my back and taking a piece of my kidney out. And what was
Well, I
really,
mean, hospitals overcharge notoriously. There's some hospitals, they did a report recently about COVID treatments, and hospitals are charging like 1,800% versus cost. 1,800.
yeah, and something I encountered a little while back, that some of this is by design. It's by negotiation with insurance companies, where
Hmm.
if you get a itemized receipt from the hospital, as mine did, and they itemized, and then you had $13,000, and then they had adjustment listed, which was 11 something $1,000 adjustment, and the final cost was something like $1,100 or something like that. What they allegedly do is inflate the price of whatever they are offering to make it look like you're getting a deal with the insurance company. But if you don't have insurance, you're not responsible for that actual cost of $1,100. You're responsible for that $13,000 or whatever the fuck it happened to be. Um,
A lot of places don't even operate like that, though. There's a lot of places where they just give mundane items a fancy sounding name and then charge out the ass. Like aspirin is what, pain suppressant or something.
okay, then, yeah.
Or, or hell, they might even put analgesic in there somewhere. A tissue is like a phlegm retrieval implement or some shit, and they'll charge you $100 for it,
Yeah.
for a tissue kind of thing. So it's like it sounds flowery and really important because it has this technical sounding name and it's a fucking tissue, but because it has that cool name that they think is impenetrable that no one will interpret as tissue, they charge, like a gajillion bucks for it.
Yeah, well, I was almost going to say I'd really like to know, but maybe I don't want to know. I think we all by now know that I was in hospital for a month back when I was 18. The total itemized receipt or whatever it was came to something like $7,000 or something. What would it be now
Well,
if you
hell, I
were?
mean, let's just adjust 7,000 for inflation even before we look at how much that would cost now.
Yeah, well, the darn thing is this. I get the impression that inflation, as far as medical care is concerned, has outpaced inflation as far as loaves of bread is concerned. I don't know if that's true or not,
Oh
but
yeah, that's my point though. Is first we find out how much 7,000 is worth today.
mm-hmm.
Then we look at how much they charge for the same procedure so that now we have a measure that actually means something in terms of how much have they boosted the cost. Because if we just look at 7,000 in what, $1913 or whenever the hell you were in the hospital,
Yeah, there you go.
and then we look at 7,000 today, those are already not equal. So to determine the inflation of hospital costs, I think it's easier to do it in terms of today's dollars, which is why I suggest we convert.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I want to do is convert, and I'll figure out how to do it because a couple numbers I remember: 32 days
hold
in
on, rewind. What year was that?
1976.
All right, 1976 in here, 2020. Calculate. Holy shit! $32,033.67 adjusted for inflation.
Okay, and
Now, this was what was the name of the procedure? Do you know?
it was a right temporal parietal craniotomy. That
Okay,
procedure
hold
in
on,
19
hold on. I got to type that in, so don't be too distracting.
right temporal parietal. There we go.
Pro, let's hope I'm spelling parietal correctly. Yeah, I'm. There we go. Actually, I came awfully close.
Okay.
Parietal. You said craniotomy,
Yes. Yeah. In
and
other
there
words, they
wasn't
cut
any.
my head open.
Hold on, and there wasn't anything in between parietal and craniotomy. Yes.
Correct.
Okay. Cost of right temporal parietal craniotomy. Oh, I should put 2020 in there.
Yay.
Okay. According to Johns Hopkins. Oh, no, that's just the definition. I don't see price. Oh, and there's a shit ton of ways to do it. Oh, here we go. Craniotomy surgery will cost you between 50,000 and 150,000 in the more developed countries like the US and the UK.
Okay.
So, at a minimum, they would be charging what about 18,000 ish more now
Well,
compared to what would have paid in adjusted dollars.
actually it's more than that because I do remember when they itemized the craniotomy cost $900. It wasn't even 1,000.
Well, there's okay, fine, but the point is that your end bill was not as much. I mean,
Well,
even when
yeah.
adjusted for inflation, your bill was not as much as the lowest that they
Right.
charge,
D'après,
right? So
right.
and then there's yeah.
Yeah, because I do remember the other number 32 days in hospital, just the per diem. That was $5,500. Um, and yeah, I mean, consider how cheap that
Wow.
was, nominally.
Wait. Okay, you lost me. What? It sounded like you said that per diem, so every day, $5,500 for you to be in the
No,
hospital.
no, no. Okay, no, no, no. The $3,200, the 32 days was a total of $5,500. The total of the per diem
Oh,
charges.
okay.
So it
So,
was a bit
so
over a
how
hundred
much was
dollars a
it
day.
per diem? Okay, $100. Okay, that was the
Less,
question.
yeah, about 100 something a day. What the
Mm,
hell would they charge now?
well, that's probably per diem hospital stay. Probably varies from hospital to hospital, but maybe we can get an average. Okay. While total expenses for a hospital stay increased with the length of stay, the average per diem decreased as the length of stay increased. For example, the average per diem expense was $7,985 for one night stays, about 24% of stays, versus $2,176 for stays of five nights or longer, about 31% of stays. So per night, 2,176. Now, I don't know what that is adjusted for dollars though. Let's see. You said it was about 100 a day.
Yeah, it was call
All
it
right.
5,500 divided by 32.
So let's see. Okay, let me start there to get something more accurate.
Mm-hmm.
5,500 divided by 32 equals 171 and 87. Well, make it 88 cents rounded up. 171 per day.
Yeah, it's not
So
it's not exact because some of that was ICU, but it's close enough.
calculate. Yeah, that would be $786.56 per day. So let's see. If we copy that, put it into the calculator, you said how many days? 15?
How many days total I was in the hospital?
For the amount of money you gave me was for how many days?
32.
32. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that would make the total, oh, Jesus, Harold Christ, $25,169.92.
Yeah, I got that in
So,
pocket change. Give me two.
so yeah. Wow, I didn't know there was an inflation calculator online, although I should have suspected as much, really.
Well, you can find just about anything
That
online.
will come in handy at some point because there have been times when I've been curious about how much a dollar was worth back in the day. But the day that it was back in changes from time to time.
Yeah.
So I mean, but this thing goes back to 1913 and later. So
Oh, okay then.
yeah. Well, hell, let's see what that was worth 2019. So $171.88 in 2019 was actually, well, now is $175.06. So inflation is not, I mean, it's like an extra $3 and 20 something cents ish.
Okay then.
I mean, you know.
And this is where I've said it earlier today, and I'm thinking that it sounds conspiratorial, but I'm thinking that there are those forces who like to see things as expensive as this to keep those of us who are the peons
The
running
proles,
the
unwashed
yeah
masses.
running around just to make ends meet, just to try to get on with the business of living, to where we don't have time to involve ourselves in the politics of it all.
So wage slaves you're talking about.
Yeah,
How
basically.
much of wage slavery is by design? I'd say pretty much all of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like that was part of the point behind what was that part of Obamacare called? What was it? The individual mandate or something, where everyone
Oh,
had to get insurance. I
right,
mean, that was a
right.
total giveaway to the insurance industry, where it was like, well, now everyone has to buy from you by law. You see what's going on here?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all got to get rich because we made legislation that forces people to buy from you.
Yeah. No, they explained it as everybody had to be insured, even those who were not in bad health, because let's face it. I mean, we already know this. Those who are in good health are paying for people like me, who are in less than perfect health. I mean, that's just the way you spread the cost, you spread risk. We understand that. We're
Well, no, I don't think we all do. That's the problem. There's people out there who, even if they understand it, refuse to live like that.
I remember a couple of them. Yeah, there was a person who was part of the community a couple of years ago who liked Donald Trump because he wanted he got found one way or another to get rid of that mandate, and to where when the mandate was instituted, it cost him an extra, I think, $4,500 a year. And
Well,
now I
okay.
can't say what shape he was in, whether he was able to afford that 4,500 or not. I can't say. I don't remember. But yeah. Okay, Amiga Nuts. When I came up with the open chat, the original idea I had was to open the panel to all comers, and boy, am I glad that never happened.
Speaking of I do have to go feed the cats now. It is that time. So the question becomes, do we end the stream or do I take a break to go feed them?
Oh my, oh my, oh my. How much do you want to get rid of me?
Well, I mean, it'll be a lot easier. Well, I'm a little bit on the high side to, you know, stay.
Okay, please come on back.
Okay, then.
Yay. Yeah, it sounds good. I like it.
I will be right back. Hold on a second.
We'll open. There we go. Open as in, have a. Well, I just never got around to changing the title. And then maybe one day I'll open it up again. I'm not sure. I mean, the other thing, the other idea I had was it wasn't going to be as structured as Coffee with Lavender was at that time, but it turns out that Coffee with Lavender became less structured rather than, remaining more structured. Oh, happy smoke. Yay! You can have all that smoke. Boy, I'm glad I quit smoking. I am. Really, I am. It's not that I don't have the cravings every now and then, but it was a good thing to put that stuff down. I was losing my voice very quickly. Well, I'm already losing my voice now. I don't know why, but I developed a rough throat about a week ago, and I still haven't got rid of it. One of the reasons the voice is as low as it is now is that, that's because of a sore throat. I can't even do the kitty call in the if you can hear it sounds strained, where I used to be able to do that high pitched kitten call. So what the heck? I'll work on it. I'll see if we can get it better and everything else, and see what happens from there. And I don't know how things are going to go over here. I may end up restructuring things a little bit. To make them sound more like the titles.
And Sander does not want to eat that wet food.
Oh, what?
He got addicted to kibble, I guess, and now he only wants kibble.
Oh my, oh my. Well, there's the.
Gotten to the point where Columbia will steal his wet food, and I'm starting to think I should stop giving him kibble until he starts eating the wet food.
Okay.
Just so that he knows that's all he's getting.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Gotcha. Yeah, okay.
Because right now, Columbia will run over to his bowl and eat it all because he seems really not interested. And she was doing that before, but I was giving them wet food plus a handful of kibble. And I think Xander was just eating the kibble and letting Columbia have the wet food, which is why sometimes I would see them switch places, because I guess Xander was going for Columbia's kibble and she was going for his wet food.
I don't know if the little one over here would know what to do with wet food if I gave it to her. I might have to experiment.
Still, it is kind of bad for cats' health to give them only kibble. They really do need the wet food.
I'll have to, when I go shopping tomorrow, because I am going shopping tomorrow, I'll have to get a can or two and experiment. And I'm assuming
she might decide to worship you for it. Like, where the fuck has this been all my life?
That too, yeah. Because I'm assuming that there might be some experimentation involved as to which wet food she likes. But
well, I decided on which wet food to give the cats just because it was easiest to make sure that I was giving them the same amount every time. So I got, rather than like the shreds or the whatever else they have in the can, I got the pate, which is just a can-shaped slab of cat food. And so you can into quarters,
Okay,
and
then, yeah.
then you know how much you're giving.
Oh my, hi Colleen, how you doing, honey? Yay. Yeah, I may have a little bit of reorganizing to do by the time the new year comes around. So it's a good thing that we're like about 2/3 of the way through November, coming on the end of the
Mm.
year here, kids. I don't know.
Oh, I wait for December 10th. God damn it.
Okay, that's when your game is coming, right? Or at least
Uh
you're
huh.
hoping for it.
Well, it does seem like it's a go. So,
Alrighty then. Okay.
finally, after how many fucking delays, but it looks like it's a go. I'm looking forward to it. Although some of the stuff I've been talking about with people like on the forums, there were a couple of things that are going to be in the game where I'm like, oh, a couple of things have been left out. A couple of things like I found out some spoilers that I probably wish I didn't know, but actually I'm glad I do because it prepares me because there's this one character they've been showing in all the trailers who looks like a really cool guy. Like he'd be an awesome companion, you know?
Mm.
And he gets very, very, very killed at some point in the game.
Oops.
And I was like, and there's apparently nothing you can do about it either. And I'm just like, oh man. So, you
Okay, so
know,
don't get invested in this character, right? Don't become
right.
vested. Yeah.
But I am really looking forward to it. Plus, it comes out on the anniversary of Marie Fredrikson's death, like the 1 year anniversary to the day. And so I think what I'm going to try to do is take the character I create, make her look like Marie Fredrickson.
I don't know. December's just not a good month for you, is it?
Well, there's, my birthday and Giftmas and New Year's and it's I'm usually glad when December's over. Although this year I'm so not invested in my birthday that honestly, I'll if anything good happens, it'll be the best present ever because I don't care,
Okay
at this
then.
point.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's to the point now where I really don't give a shit about my birthday. It's the lunar landing that I've cared about the last what number of years, But so it's another trip around the sun. We. Uh,
Mm. Yeah, well, I don't know.
oh,
It's
Mage
funny how many.
says. Hmm? Mage says, good news. My aunt and uncle's COVID retesting came back negative. So the first test was a false positive. Yay!
Either that or stepped up like a fucking boss with that immune system of theirs, and probably not though.
Oh, my.
Yeah, birthdays suck past 30. I mean, I guess. I have to say I miss like the birthday parties you get as a kid. You know,
I
I
never
mean,
got
I
any.
was never a fan of those stupid conical hats, but getting the cake and the presents and playing games with your friends and all that stuff, I enjoyed that. And an adult's birthday may include a present, might include a cake, but really, no one makes a big, huge deal about it anymore unless you happen to have like an immediate family or an extended family that makes a huge deal out of it for you. Hell, I can't remember the last time my parents actually bought me a present. They'll send me a check, but there's no like personalized, here's like the thing we're pretty sure you'd like because we know you that well kind of thing.
Okay, then.
Oh, yeah, I miss that.
I,
But
I
what you
never
gonna do?
I never got birthday parties. Well, I got one when I was 5 years old, when I turned five. But yeah, other than that, that was as far as birthday parties and stuff were concerned. And I don't know, what are you gonna do? Then again, yeah, there is that point where birthdays start to matter again, but that's when you're about to turn 103. And who wants to do
Yeah.
that?
Well, if I'm still this at 103, I'd love to.
Yeah, there you go.
That's
Gets
the thing. You get those people who I wish I could live forever, and they forget to specify young.
Yeah, there you go. Well, Okay, what you want to do then is you want to get somebody working on that portrait of you that you can put up in the attic.
Right. Actually, it's funny. My cousin Adam and his husband decided to start their own new last name because they weren't sure, like who's going to take which name, and hell, I'm not even sure what Will's last name was, but they decided to go with Gray. They are now Gray. I
Okay.
guess I don't know. Maybe that's because Adam's white and Will's black. I don't know. But yeah, they did like. Oh, and they're doing this really cool thing where okay, um, they're taking Will's sperm and Adam's sister Valerie's egg, and then with a third donor, they're cooking up their own kid that's like at least genetically close to them as they can get.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, it's complicated, but it's going to be interesting. I can't wait to see what this kid's like. You know,
There you
um,
go. Now, there's the one thing I
like I
don't.
said, they started their own last name. So
There's the one thing I don't understand, and maybe I'm going to be viewed with disdain for saying this sort of thing, but
Mhm.
I don't quite get the whole thing where somebody wants a kid. It's got to be genetically from their line. You know, they've got to be DNA related. Um,
I don't think it has to be. I think they just like it that way.
well, in other words, I'm not talking about these people. A lot of people. It's got to be my kid.
In general, I think a lot of people just they like the idea of their line continuing. You know, they like the idea of a legacy. And let's face it, yeah, sometimes it is nice to have your kid kind of look like you. I guess. You know, I can see lots of ways to justify it.
I don't know. Yeah, it's um,
And I'm saying that as an adoptee, I still get it.
well, that's where I was coming from. Is I'm an adoptee, and that whole genetic line thing. If there's anything that I consider about that is I'm so very happy that I am not related to those two. Man. Hmm?
But I mean, it's just I I understand the whole well, let's put it this way. You know how I got that Sealand title, right? How
Yes.
I'm now Lady Catherine of House Far of the Principality of Sealand?
Yes.
Well, that's not a title you can inherit. However, there are services out there now. They're very unclear about this because they make it sound like it's a real legal title, but then when you ask them, they say no one can give you a title. It's very, but they make it sound rather more official, and they make it plain that it is something that your descendants can inherit. So, you know, unlike a Sealand title, which is, let's face it, a novelty, it's a like an expensive piece of paper essentially. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I would love to have someone able to inherit a title that I've got. I think that'd be pretty cool. Now, while I wouldn't need them to be of my genetic line, I can see the appeal. You know, I mean, I can see the appeal of having your own genetics on the throne or whatever. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it makes sense to me.
Okay, Amiga just mentioned the SpaceX launch. Yeah, we just had liftoff a few seconds ago. I think they are at about 500 meters now.
Wait,
Uh,
wait, wait, wait. Whoa. Rewind. I thought that launched days ago. Or is there another one?
this is another one.
Oh,
Yeah, this is for a Starlink mission with those satellites that are supposed to internet connect everybody, and astronomers are complaining about.
okay.
Everything looks good. Everything looks good. Well, I can remember uh, flights years ago where Walter Cronkite would be sitting there. Everything's looking good. Beautiful flight. Beautiful flight. Boom. Oh my. I don't know, kids. But it's interesting how the whole spaceflight thing has become So, do you want to call it mundane? That it's,
Well,
oh, another one's going up. Okay.
you know what? I'm not going to say anything about the space program itself being mundane. I think what it is that, well, it's that they aren't doing anything that most people would look at and go, that's cool. No one's going to the moon. No one's going to Mars. We're not like advancing the space program in any way. Not really. I mean, we're just sending people into the orbit to the International Space Station, and half the time it's not even our spaceship going up there. It's like one of those Soyuz capsules. So I
Mm.
mean, I can understand why people would look at the space program now and go, meh.
Well, I mean that's the man side, and yes, I know I haven't changed my language to fit everybody's desires, but who cares? Um, but there have been quite a few notable unmanned flights,
Yes,
robotic
but
flights.
that's still not sexy. That's still not the stuff people are looking for. People want to see a moon landing or a Mars landing or something. They want that moment because that's the moment everyone will come together around. The only people who come together around some unmanned flight of something is the people who geek out about it already anyway.
Mm.
It's like you're not going to get that general appeal of like the first this, that, or the other thing that a person did. That an actual space adventurer, if you want to put it that way, experienced that we can all watch and root for like it's a sports team. We don't have that. And so of course people are bored with it. It's like do something more than what you've done every time before, which is go to the International Space Station. We need more than that now to keep people interested.
And there's the thing, I don't offhand know whether we have much left that we are able to do with people aboard. I mean, when you look at a crew going to Mars, that has many much difficulties. You've got the long trip, and you've got the radiation
Yeah.
exposure possibility, and all these sorts of things. What is there that you can do that's not like 99% certain to get the crew killed?
I don't know.
I mean that
But
was a rhetorical question, basically.
all I'm saying is you have to, though, if you want to keep the public giving a shit about the space program, you have to make it bigger, neater, more in your face. Otherwise, folks are going to look at it and go, eh.
Mm. And I guess,
And honestly, it's easy to understand. Frankly, I mean, it's like I know what I wanted from a space program. I also know I haven't gotten it yet.
well, you want your personal spaceship.
Yeah, I want to live like it's the Jetsons, and they're really not taking us any closer to that now.
Mm. Yeah, I don't know if we've got a shot at living, let alone living like the Jetsons, but that's another story entirely. Oh
Yeah,
my.
but still, that's what I want, and it's what I'm probably never going to get. And that's why when I look at these space flights that are going on, I'm like, well, I'm never going to get to go, so why the fuck do I care?
Okay.
You guys aren't going to discover intelligent alien life, so why the fuck do I care? This is doing me no good. And honestly, I'm not sure it's doing anyone any good because we don't seem to have any goal to do more than just go to the International Space Station. So,
Well,
what's
that's a big one. There is no goal. There is no overarching destination, if you want to put it that way.
well, maybe there should
There should be, absolutely, definitely. I mean, we've had weak attempts at overarching goals for the last, what, 30 years, and they barely get started, and then there's the budget's pulled out from under them, and it doesn't go anywhere. I mean, think of Constellation and Trying to think of what else there was as far as the various attempts at a continuing space program that have been going on since what
Whoa!
1990.
You actually said program for once. This time it didn't come out as program. I'm starting to wonder if maybe that's an affectation just to piss me off.
Oh, would I do something like that?
I would admit it to you. I'm looking at what
Actually,
Mage Grey Wolf said down there about wonder what a Jetsons live action movie would look like done now. Well, I mean, if they tried to stay true to the source material, at least visually speaking, they could probably do it rather well. But if they tried to update everything, I don't think it would work because it wouldn't have that same kitsch value. But it's funny you mention it because I was looking through like that cyberpunk game I want to play is actually based on a tabletop RPG. You see,
Porожnie.
and I was like, hold on a sec, I got to record that one. I've been recording things that you say a lot, by the way. Um, and let's see, where is it? Because there was this here's the technology you can expect in 2020, and I'm looking and it's like these 1990s looking flip phones. The book, yes, here we go. This book came out in about 1990, and that's what they thought state of the art phones were gonna look like. You see.
Oh my, oh my, oh my.
But yeah, like I'm saying, we have two moos, three move beefs, four deprogniers. Actually, no, and then there's this kitties yet. Two I'm weirds. No, I don't know what I'm saying, but one instance of a bad, or sorry, no, I take that back. Five instances of a bad accent. Let's see. One glad I'm old gonna die. Actually, strangely, only one Bojamoy. And three individual and unique mentions of the space program, and one I lost it a long time ago. So far.
So far.
So
Yay! But
just that.
what I can tell you, Borgia Moy, for you, yes.
Oh, stop that. You close this now because you're going to do them all deliberately.
Yes,
But
yes, I,
I'm just
yes, yes, I am too. Yes.
yes. But anyway,
Oh my, oh my. It's amazing that when I look back at some of the pictures that you can actually find on the interwebs, the very first mobile phones, they look like those army issue walkie talkies, where you had the whole thing in the backpack and the crank, and they were about
the,
that tall and about that wide. Yeah.
didn't we have that conversation not too long ago where I showed the one that Murtaugh was using in Lethal Weapon?
I don't know.
Or
I
was that
can't.
in a different stream? That might have been in a different stream. Because I was talking to like on Lethal Weapon. Actually, you know what? I bet it was that Sunday thing that I do with the Breakfast Club folks there. Or is it Lethal Weapon portable? I can't type today. Portable phone. There we go. Blah, 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 blah. Where's the one that Murtaugh? I guess I have to type in Murtaugh. M-U-R-T. I think that's how you spell Murtaugh. Huh. Weird. I don't see it.
Yeah. Okay. Here we are on this thing, the whatever it is that
Ah,
you want to call it.
yes. There it is. That's the picture I'm looking for. Copy image. Wow, I actually don't have my image viewer up yet. Paste. And present now. Vinder. And there is the Roger Murtaugh on the giant portable. Giant
No,
portable
I
phone.
remember you showing that. It was on one of the shows, either Sunday or Tuesday.
Okay. Yeah.
Dayo Korostu.
Yeah. I wonder how many of these are like findable now and like vintage collector's items or some shit.
I don't know to knowing, but yeah, it's. I see the picture of the thing over here on the page I was looking at. Okay, and then you got the present arms, and yeah, this is the one I was thinking of. Or,
Oh yeah, those jobby dudes.
yeah, the thing had to weigh about 15 pounds.
I always thought they looked like hardcover books.
Okay.
You know, like if you took the antenna off, put it on a bookshelf, someone might not notice.
Yeah, okay. Okay, I like that idea.
Just saying.
Yeah, there you are. Because it's like, there we go. And then, okay, we'll just hog that foo. There it
Hmm.
goes. Yay.
I discovered I can actually drink this non-Trump style if I feel strong enough.
Oh, well then.
Well, because ordinarily I put a hand here because it is about the size of a fire extinguisher.
Yeah, there you
So,
are. There you are.
and we all remember Trump with his sippy cup.
Oh,
You know,
gods, yes.
I wonder if he
Oh,
still does.
Mage.
Told them just don't ever drink anything in public anymore because it's wigging people out. Like, I wonder how many things Trump isn't allowed to do in public simply because they know it will like stir the pot. I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mage, you in your past tense, you say you liked your flip phone. I still have one.
Mm,
I u-
I've been looking for my first phone, which was a flip phone. Can't find it.
Oh man, I use this to trap the robocalls. I have my what the heck? Oh, that's interesting. I see that I shot a picture with this.
That's right. It was the Motorola Razor that I had. That's the
Ah, okay. I know that
yeah,
name. I know that name.
that shit's old school too. Copy image, and I have to admit, flicking it open the way that you had to, sort of vaguely Star Trek style.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
it was fun. I have to say, it was fun to do it. But yeah,
Yeah,
that
there
was
you
my
are.
first
There you are.
there.
Yeah, the one I've
That,
got.
so mine was silver, like that one. Yeah. Although this one appears to have a camera. I don't think mine did.
Oh my, ancient.
Hmm. Or if it did, it took pictures that were so low res that really what was the point?
Okay.
And I'm
Yeah,
not sure you could get them off the phone in any fashion. I think they were just stuck on the phone. I don't know.
yeah. What disappoints me is this flip phone of mine. You cannot do the Star Trek thing with it. It takes
Oh,
too much force to flip it open the way Kirk would flip his communicator open.
well, how do you know he didn't have a thumb hooked under there in some fashion?
It's got to be the way that worked. Yeah, it has to
Because
be.
when I had a flip phone, I would stick my thumb there. When I would open it, just like
Mm-hmm.
that, almost like it was a lighter,
Now,
and flip it open like that. And I mean, if I whipped my wrist around enough, it did look like I was doing like doing it purely with motion. But I was still flicking it. I was cheating.
now this one I can close it with a flick of the wrist, so at least I can do that. But
Hmm.
yeah,
Which
it's
I
I'm amazed.
sincerely hope that Stool is not in the chat right now because he will be taking the part where I was saying I flicked it and reworking that in a video to mean something else entirely. So,
He's good at that. Yes.
well, I mean, you are aware of one of the like euphemisms for uh, female masturbation, right? Is flicking the bean?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, saying I flicked it, he would turn that into, if he was here, which I'm pretty sure he's not.
Well, if he is here, he's practicing some incredible restraint,
It's
which is
true.
which is unusual for Stool.
I don't know. I
Oh
mean,
my.
when I first met him, I thought he was a complete asshole, and then after about 10 minutes, I realized, he's just all in good fun.
Oh, yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So I started giving as good as I got, and it seemed to work as far as him being less cruel in my direction. So, a certain kind of grudging respect, let's call it.
There you are. There you are, detente.
So,
Oh my. Oh, what have we got here? We've got people liking their flip phones. That's good. I like that.
yeah. I know. I have to admit, one reason why I would want a flip phone now is just to protect the screen on the phone.
Yes.
You know,
Okay.
like you can buy those little plastic thingies that are supposed to protect it, but regardless, just the ability to have it not suffer impact trauma just automatically because it's built into the design of the phone.
Mm.
I mean,
Yeah. The one thing that I have looked for, what do they call them? The wallets or whatever it is. The cases for the smartphones. You've
oh
got.
yeah, it's just a case.
Yeah, and then mine are so old as far as the model of phone is so close to its end of life that nobody's making accessories for them anymore. So it's because
I hate it when that happens, when the rest of the world decides, here's the design we prefer, and it's not the one you like best. Oh,
yeah.
like those headphones, right? But also, speaking of cell phones, I had got a custom Bionic Dance pop socket made.
Oh
So,
yay.
so I wanted to try to market them, but it's not great. The boundaries, the dimensions that they gave me to use didn't quite correspond right, so everything's like right up against the edge in ways it shouldn't be.
Okay
Yeah,
then.
what I give to find headphones like this,
Oh, that fit
because
over
this,
the whatever that's
right? But
called.
I mean, I found some of those. But the thing is that this is also important because this is less intrusive than regular earbuds these days. But it also doesn't feel like it's going to fall out.
So okay,
Like
that's not
you
going
know,
into the ear canal.
well, no, no. I mean, this much does right here.
Oh, oh, okay,
Like,
fine.
but on the earbuds that we use today, they have that little plastic nipple on the end of it, and that always feels like number one, I stuff it in there, but I can feel the headphones moving around, and it's creepy as fuck. But it also feels like if I tug in the wrong way, that plastic nipple is going to stay in my ear. So
Mm,
I find them very creepy. Where these are extremely comfortable and secure. So, but of course, the rest of the world decided that's the design they don't want. So I'm left to twist.
moo. Yeah, nobody cares about us anymore. I don't know. I almost miss the ear. They weren't called earbuds then, but you would call them now. That existed a long, long time ago. Where they actually did fit into the ear canal, but their size or the shape or whatever it was, it was the coin shaped thing within the little protrusion, and you could
You might
just
want to
go.
point that at the camera.
Say again.
You might want to point that at the camera. Everyone was looking at it sideways.
What am I pointing at the camera?
Your hand when you did that.
Oh, 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 oh. Let's see. Yeah,
There
it,
you
it,
go.
it would
That's
it would
the
fit in, and then you'd have the little cable, the little wire down. Um, it
well,
was
but you were
just
doing this with like a coin shape or something.
a coin shape with a
Ah,
little.
towards the camera.
Let's see if I can find. Um,
You again did that towards your screen rather than the camera. Could not tell what you were actually doing because most of your hand was in the way.
okay, earbuds old style. Let's see if we can find. No, I just is. I don't even know if anybody's got them pictured anymore. Oh, 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 oh. Found it. Oh, yay, 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 yay. The stuff that looked like. Present Harms. Oh my.
Okay.
Do, 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 do.
Oh, yeah.
That.
Okay.
Those were so
Yeah,
comfortable for me.
really, because I look at that and I think that would be creepy as fuck to have in my ear.
Okay.
I don't want anything that goes in about as far as a Q-tip ought. You know? I
Okay.
mean, it just looks really. I don't know. Let's put it this way: it looks way too much like a miniature marital aid.
Okay, she's got a point. She's got a point.
And
Dai, carasto.
no, there's more of that accent. But yeah, yeah.
Yay! There you
You know
are.
what I saw a while back, and I'm like disturbed by how tempted I was this thing. It's really heavy. It's about this thick, and it goes like around your neck. And it's got these two speakers here. So you're basically just walking around with a flattened boom box
Oh,
that goes
jeez.
around your neck.
Oh
And
my.
like seriously, this thing was loud. It would expose everyone around you to your music. It's like, you know, those guys who for whatever reason feel the need to drive around to where their windows flex. That's how loud their music is,
Yes.
and you can
Yeah.
hear them for at least a block and a half. Like I mean, okay, number one, nobody cares how big of a dick you've got, dude. You can turn it down. You don't have anything to prove. But number two, I mean, that's what this thing would do, except you wore it instead of drove it.
I don't get that stuff because yeah, as you're talking about the guys in the cars with the how do they retain any hearing at all? You know, why are they not deaf by the age of 30, you know?
I really honestly could not tell you. Maybe they are, is the thing. Maybe that is what happens.
Uh,
But hold on, let me present now a window. Now, I don't know if this was the exact model, but it's close enough that it demonstrates the concept, if nothing else.
oh Lord. Okay, okay.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about here. Um, and it's got to be pretty obnoxious. The only use I could think of to have one of the like the only reason is if I actually finally get that scooter I've been talking about, and I want to listen to music that's not directly in my ears, you know.
Okay, okay.
But that's the thing I saw.
But okay, now there's the interesting thing. Not listening to music that's directly in your ears. Okay, so if you're on the scooter and you're wearing the headset, is that allowed in California?
Oh
I
hell yeah,
oh okay because
yeah.
in Ohio you could not do that.
Well, also, I mean, because like what I have is built into the helmet, right? It's actually made specifically for that model of helmet, and it's like this Bluetooth speaker system that connects up to your phone. Now, granted, it's not the best idea in the world to listen to music while you're on a motorcycle, scooter, whatever. Not the best idea in the world, but you know, for things like directions, Google Maps, right? Or if a phone call comes in, the ability to hear all of that is mildly useful and important.
Yeah, because yeah, one of the things I didn't want to do it, so I didn't run into a problem with it. But some people with whom I was familiar wanted to be able to have a mobile phone or some sort of thing and a way to listen to it over a headset while driving. So you know they weren't turning away and they weren't being distracted. And then you find out that you can't do it because Ohio won't let you do that sort of thing because they call that a distraction. Um, so you
I don't
know
know,
what are you gonna do?
but I mean, I can show you here. Like, okay, to install this, you have to essentially rip out all of the padding in the helmet, put it in, and then put the padding back in. But that is the Bluetooth phone setup I have inside the helmet. Here is what it, you can sort of see where it goes in the helmet, right?
Okay,
So
then.
that's the setup that's in there. It's paired to my phone. If I want to listen to music or take a phone call in the helmet, I totally can.
Moo.
I'm now sorry I closed that list. I could put down another mo.
It's just too bad. I would not mind like a scooter or something like that. There are just two things. Number one, northern winters, and number two, where do I put it when I'm not driving it?
Hmm. I actually have a dedicated parking space at my building. I could put whatever I want there. Uh, but okay, the main reason, aside from the pandemic and really not wanting to go to the DMV anytime soon, the one of the reasons I haven't gotten it is simply because I'm a little bit scared of going on the highway with it. I
Okay,
mean, you're hitting
yes.
60, 65 miles an hour on a two-wheeled vehicle. Now they do say that the faster you go, the easier it is to balance because the tires will help keep you up. Uh, but it's still a little bit scary. I mean, I know what happens if you crash at about 20, 30 miles an hour, and it's no fun. And it could only be worse going double that. So, and a lot of why I want a vehicle is to be able to go up to places like La Jolla, because that's where most of my doctor appointments are. Like they still want to make sure that my head meats are doing what they ought, and it's also where my LASIK surgeon is. And going there via Lyft or Uber is pretty expensive, actually. Like the round trip would probably get around $30, right?
Okay,
So
then. Yeah.
yeah, but if I feel unsafe on the vehicle, I mean, I suppose I could find ways to get to La Jolla that don't involve highways, but eh, So I mean, I'm still trying to work up the courage to actually get the scooter, but also I'm trying to wait for the pandemic to be over so I actually get a motorcycle license.
Okay, then. Yes.
Meh.
Oh my. I was just thinking earlier. I hope things could improve next year. I don't know whether they will or not. Um, whether we could have the vaccines, whether we could get things to the point where some of the restrictions could be lifted. I can go out of the house basically. I mean,
Well, I still
if I make it to my next birthday, I'd like to go to Kentucky with the Ark Encounter
the arc.
protest.
Well, but my question, and I still have not gotten a straight answer to this one with regard to vaccines, is I mean, like I think we discussed it last time. You have to have it once and then get it again after like 2 weeks or something, just to make sure, right? Um, so that it doesn't mutate and bypass your immune, whatever. Point being, how soon after that second injection could you go to, say, a super spreader event and definitely be immune?
That I don't know at all. Yeah, I don't know if anybody does.
Because I'm just curious, like if you have had the vaccine, how bold can you be? How long do you have to take precautions still?
Yeah.
And then there's also a couple of other questions I have, because a lot of these companies are saying they could have before the end of the year 300,000 doses. Well, there's how many millions of people in this country? About like what, 300 million at
About
least?
370 million, I thought.
So that's clearly not enough vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
How long until I could get even one injection? How long until you could? You know,
Yeah,
how
yeah.
how much are we going to have to wait in line for a vaccine? I mean, I'm just curious about all of this because I don't know how it can work. I don't know how long it'll be before we can consider the pandemic over. I
Well,
mean,
yeah, and I have said this before, and I've got crap from some people, but I really don't expect any sort of normalcy for at least another 5 years.
well, hold on though. Normalcy with the disease or just normalcy, normalcy?
I mean, as far as risk of contracting the disease, I'm figuring there's going to be an elevated risk until, say, even 2025.
Even with a vaccine?
Possibly, yeah.
Why?
Um, because just getting it out there and here in this country, this USA, if there are 370 million people here in the US, figure that 150 million of them are going to be anti vaxxers. So they're going to cause their problems for the rest of us.
But if we have the vaccine, where's the problem?
I don't know. This is what I want to know. I want to know for sure whether if I get the vaccine, I am totally protected and not causing anybody else any problems. Or, what's the chance of, even if I'm not showing symptoms, carrying that virus around and spreading it to other people?
Yeah, I mean, this is the kind of thing I've been asking about and cannot get a straight answer. Now, I mean, if we get the vaccine, it makes us immune. Would we really carry it around that much?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
Because
I'm
I would
getting,
have got the impression we'd kill it,
yeah,
like more or less in contact if we'd had the vaccine.
I'm getting the impression that somewhere along the line we would kill some of those virons. Um, what I don't know is how, okay, what's the effect of what number of people not vaccinated carrying virons around with them? Say, okay, you've got 5 people in the room. I'm vaccinated. I'm not going to show any symptoms. One of them passes me some virons, and occasionally, and I'll eventually kill them. But is the next one going to pass me some, and I'll eventually kill them, and the third one, and I'll eventually, and how much of a chance do I have of spreading it in the time between they give me the virons and the time I kill them? I don't know.
I mean, I guess, like, okay, I'm at a point where I really have no sympathy for anti vaxxers if they refuse to do it during the pandemic. I have no problem with people hoisting themselves by their own petards. Seriously, if
Mm,
that's what you're going to do, the real question is how many people are you going to take with you?
right.
Because some of those
That's
anti vaxxers are going to have kids.
yeah.
And that's where it starts to get a bit hinky.
Yes, it does. Because they're
Uh,
uh, because these right to lifers are not going to agree with me. But I mean, once the kid is born, you've got to worry about the kid because the kid is then a person.
hmm?
Um, and then what are you doing to this kid?
Well, but
Um,
I mean, these are the same people who, they basically think, well, the vaccines do nothing. So I don't have to vaccinate my kid.
mm-hmm.
And it's like, because it's not that they're withholding something, they think they're doing the kid a favor.
Yes. Yeah.
So I mean, I still think these people should be brought up on like child endangerment charges
Oh,
or something.
absolutely, absolutely. And this whole thing of it's the parent's right to do whatever the parent wants to do to the kid. Is it? Does the kid have no rights?
I mean, the parent certainly has legal guardianship, but I'm not sure that should be enough. I mean, like when it's a matter of public safety, I think the government should be able to step in and say you don't get to do that because it will endanger people.
Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
You know,
That Pajnia.
it's like one of the posts I made on Twitter like a week ago or something, where I'm like, what is the motto of this country? No, not in God we trust. E pluribus unum, out of many, one. But so few of these people have that gear in their brain that says I should do this for the public good.
Yeah,
That's not part of their mental makeup, their mental map. So what do you do with people like that? I mean,
I
because
can't
you
talk
kind of
about
have
it. I'll get my channel pulled.
to make a few decisions for them and enforce those decisions. There's really nothing else you can do, because if you know it's for the public good, like literally in some way, no one can deny that this is not ideological, that it's for the public good. I mean, and they refuse. I think we can treat them as hostile.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
But I'm sure there's a lot of people who disagree. A lot of people will shout, "But my freedoms" and all that shit. Well, what are you supposed to do? I mean, it matters. People can die because of this carelessness.
And that's the attitude I don't get with the religious nuts can go on about life begins at conception and no procedures to terminate a pregnancy or anything, and at the same time can say I am allowed to kill my kid by refusing the kid a blood transfusion because of my religion. The same reason that come on, one or the other.
I'm more concerned about the ones who say that you have to have that pregnancy, that child, but you're not going to get any assistance for the child after they're born.
Oh,
Those
right,
are the ones
right.
where I'm like, you are so much worse. You're the ones that are the problem here. You're the ones that I'm against. Because, you're not pro life, you're anti sex, is what you are.
Oh, sure.
You
I
know,
mean,
I know Carlin said anti woman, but it goes deeper than that. Because let's face it, these religious people have so many hangups about sex.
yes.
It should only be for reproduction. You're not allowed to enjoy it, etc., etc. It's like, yeah, they're pretty misogynistic, but in this case, they're against dudes having sex too.
Mm-hmm.
So it really is, be ashamed of your body, be ashamed of your desires. They're from Satan, etc., etc. And I wonder how much that started as a control technique and how much it just got adapted into one. Like, because there were definitely people out there who were uncomfortable with anything sexual about their bodies, etc. And so they might have written it into the religion just out of a sense of personal shame or whatever. Uh, and then it became a control mechanism later, because priests realize this is not something over which you have voluntary control, so you're going to be constantly feeling guilty about it, and that's a way to keep people under our thumb. I don't know how much of that was deliberate, and certainly how much of it was in the original idea. But that's certainly what's causing the problems now. Is there's all these people who have hangups about sex because of their religion, and they expect everyone else to follow their rules, and like they don't know how to deal with people who aren't feeling shame about sex. So their way to get back at those people is to go after abortion, because let's face it, the people who are having sex are probably going to have more of those abortions. And it's just
Well,
I
yeah,
don't know.
it's certainly the case that they would have a greater number than zero. But then again, the whole thing is have sex does not equal have abortion. I mean, there's this thing called birth control, which they don't like either.
Well, that's
Um,
why I say they're anti-sex.
mm-hmm.
That's because they have that hang up. We don't want you to have birth control, because if you do, you can have sex without consequences, and
Yeah,
they
yeah.
love those consequences.
Oh my! And I'll tell you, I don't know if anybody has said it in as many words, but the feeling I get when I look at the whole thing, the way it works, that sex is more for strengthening the pair bond than it is procreation, in a way. I mean, you do get
Well,
procreation from it, but there's more sex than live births, that sort of
well,
thing.
yeah, but I mean, they still want people to be ashamed of sex.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they want people to look at sex, but I mean, it's so involuntary to want to get laid. You know that
Yeah.
that you can definitely use it as a cudgel for people who you want to control, because you can just say to them, look, you have to come to me to be able to get absolution for this thing you can't help. You know, that's the really cruel part, is they use it, like I say, as a cudgel.
Oh my, and oh well, what are you gonna do? It's just, I wish there was some way to break that, but I don't know of one at the moment.
Well, that's what I've been doing with my channel until now, until recently, was I the way I figured it, if I can debunk religion, it'll force the people who use religion as an excuse to behave in a rather unneighborly fashion to confront the fact that everything they do, their bigotry, is all their own idea, is all their own doing. It's not in service of the Lord. It's them being assholes. Because if their religion isn't true, then the book isn't true. The instructions aren't true,
Right.
and so now they have to realize they're terrible people.
Man, who among them is going to admit that?
Well, but I mean, that's the thing, though, is I've been debunking religion specifically for that reaction. You know, for people to realize that or to force them to confront that problem with their ideology, that problem with their lifestyle. I hate saying that, but lifestyle. You know, their mistreatment of others is not justified by their religion anymore.
Mm.
That's my whole aim, my whole premise this whole time is, but like, I don't care what people believe as long as they don't use it as an excuse, as long as they don't use it to do a whole bunch of heavy lifting for their shit personalities, you know?
Well, they're so good at compartmentalizing. Would it even work? I don't know.
Well,
Uh,
I don't know either. I know I've converted people to atheism. I know I've gotten people to abandon their religion, so it works a little bit.
that's that helps in the sense of, oh, at least there's some ray of hope there. What I don't know is, I don't know that there would ever be enough leaving their favorite delusions behind because of that, to make a big dent in it or not.
Well, I'm not saying there's a magic bullet, but I do think that they will eventually be forced to confront, like what they do, who they are. You know, because if they start engaging in that bigotry and say their friends start calling them out for it, they might have to start thinking, hey, maybe it is me. Maybe I am doing it wrong.
And I suppose that's one of the reasons they keep their, what's the word I'm looking for, the circle of people, oh, they keep their community so tight so they don't have to face people who are going to tell them they're doing it wrong.
Well, I mean, thankfully, I mean, actually, I know this is going to sound really strange, but maybe it's for the best that some of those communities shun people, because then you get people out of that bubble.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
now it does suck. Like, you listen to people like Telltale talk about how he hasn't seen his family in so many years. And that part's gotta suck ass.
Oh yeah,
But at the same time, you know, it's very much an abusive relationship, and people should be getting out of it.
that's the thing. I mean, when I look at being disowned, um, they had already been treating me like shit. And by the time the initial shock was over, it was liberating. It's like, oh, they're leaving me alone. Great. But when you think of people like Telltale, who it sounds like he had a family that some people might describe as loving, who then said, "Okay, you're not doing it right. We have to quit talking to you." Yeah, that's where it becomes difficult. When well, I mean, even Seth Andrews has talked about it from time to time when his father was not talking to him. I don't know if that's still the case or not. Where you are not to suffer one who is not godly or some shit like that. Where you thought you had familial love, and then you suddenly find out you really didn't. It's gotta
Well, or
hurt.
at least that it was conditional.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it does hurt. I'm just glad that my family is not like that. I mean, I had a lot of advantages when it comes to family loyalty without a lot of obligation mixed in.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to follow any doctrines to be or stay part of my family. I was raised with the whole free to be you and me hippie thing. So,
Yeah,
you know,
I'm a little bit envious of you in the sense that your sexuality is not what you would call standard, and your family was still okay with it. It's like,
well, I mean, like from my earliest memories, I remember, I guess Judith. No, sorry, Donna is my dad's first cousin, I guess, and her, I assume, wife by now, Judith. They've been together for as long as I can remember, right? So no part of me ever thought that being a lesbian was strange.
mm-hmm.
It was only later in life that I started seeing how people treated homosexuals, and I was like, okay, but why though?
Yeah, yeah,
Now I will admit, much like how nobody really knew who the hell the Polacks were when they were telling Polak jokes, a lot of people just used the word faggot the way that most people just use idiot, jerk, whatever. Like it didn't even mean gay.
okay
It
then.
was just what you called people. I assume because it does sound harsh. It's got a lot of hard sounds and a lot of just it sounds aggressive.
Yeah, okay, yeah, 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 yeah.
And so people just used it without thinking about what it meant. Like I'm sure that when people were still using the term fucktard as much or more than they do now, it's like nobody really thought about folks with Down syndrome. Not really. A lot of it was just this is what you call people that you think are being dippity.
Yeah, yeah.
I it like but then of course people started saying, yeah, it's offensive, and I mean, I guess it was. So the people are using it a lot less. Although if you game online, you will see it still.
Okay, what gets me about that one is somebody I had. Okay, let's try this again. Someone I had
Mhm.
encountered years ago
Mhm.
with the word dotard. I think it's dotard or dotard or something like
I've
that.
always heard dotard. I think to be
Okay,
dotard, more T's.
okay. And this person said, this is so offensive. And he said, no, what do you mean it's so offensive? And to him, it was offensive because the last few letters of that word were TARD. And he said, well, no, it doesn't have anything to do with that. Well, I don't care. And it's like,
Mm.
okay, it's not so much that he thought it was offensive that I didn't like. It was the thing that he didn't care. He was just gonna
Mm.
do what he was gonna do, and that was it. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and I have to admit, at least half of why I refused to eat mustard for a very long time.
Well,
I
it's
don't know what it is, but I don't want to eat its turds.
there. You go.
And I
Yeah.
mean, It's my child's logic, and it held for a good long time, partly because every other time I would try mustard, the vinegar would make me go, so for a very long time I didn't eat mustard because of that too. Now I have discovered, and I've mentioned it before on this show, that I've learned a very sparing amount is acceptable on a sandwich.
Okay, then.
Very sparing. But slathering something in mustard, fuck
Yeah.
that. So
Well, it was
you know,
it was when
I
I
put ketchup on my hot dog. Suck it.
it was when I discovered that there were mustards other than that yellow French's stuff that I decided, yeah, I do kind of like mustard. Um, to this day, I'm not a big fan of that yellow mustard, whatever, if there's a name for it or.
I'd rather eat that, to be perfectly honest. The other stuff is a little too hoity-toity for me. It feels like it's not the like it feels like it's not what I signed on for. Um, like okay, there was I'm pretty sure it was Eddie Murphy, but I guess it could have been Bill Cosby. Was doing this routine about how mom, I want to get McDonald's. My friends all got McDonald's, and mom's like, I'll make a burger that's better than
Oh,
McDonald's. And
Eddie Murphy, welfare burger.
yeah, and I was like, listening to you talk about the mustard like that, I'm going, I wanted McDonald's, and I'm getting, pardon me, do you have any Grey Poupon? And I'm like, fucking want that. I want the good stuff. I want the kind of stuff that you might get at a baseball park. It's like I wanted McDonald's. Yeah, you're taking me to some 5-star in the Zagat guide thing, and I'm like, thanks, no, you know.
Yay!
So that's just me. I like the like I've told you that story about the when I got my dad to go to Denny's, and
Oh
I'm
yeah,
like, look,
yeah.
I know what I'm getting, and I know I'm gonna like it. And oddly enough, Dad ended up liking it too. He thought he wouldn't, but he found stuff for him that he actually was like, "Hey, I'd totally eat this." So,
Oh,
man,
it's been a good long time since omelets at Denny's at midnight. I have fond memories, and it's been a while.
yeah, I remember a lot of nights. We're too drunk to go home, but or we're too awake to go home, too drunk to go anywhere else. So we'd go to the IHOP that was right by the club.
Oh, okay then. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like there wasn't a Denny's for miles, but IHOP was right there. And let's face it, the two of them don't have a lot of differences.
Right. And then a nice substitute here in this neighborhood is Eaton Park. Um, think of Denny's with a different sign. Um,
Yeah, but something about that isn't sitting right. And I'm thinking, wouldn't you park and then eat?
well, yeah, it's kind of difficult to take the food out to you because I don't know if this is the case or not, but I believe that Eaton Park is reputed to be either the first or one of the first car hop places.
Car hop?
Well, this is
Do you,
where. Say again.
you mean drive through?
Okay, when I'm thinking drive through, I'm thinking you go up to the window and you go up to the thing and you say, "Can I have this sandwich or whatever?" And then you go up to the window and they hand you this sandwich and they say 252. The place I'm thinking of with the car hop, they actually had like parking places, if you will, under a roof, and they it was always a waitress came out to the car and took your
Hmm.
order and then went back in and got everything done and brought it back out to you.
One of those. All
Yeah,
right. I've never heard it called a, what did you say? A lunch jump?
car hop.
Car hop. Okay. It sounds very, well, 50s.
Yeah, it is. It is absolutely.
But like, I'm surprised this waitress wasn't on roller skates.
I have not been to one of those, but I understand they did exist.
Yeah, but I mean, it sounds very in theme. Let's just put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, at least for what you're describing.
Oh yeah, the roller skates was definitely a thing at one time. I don't know why they got away from it, but they did. Um,
I don't know if I actually like still have one of the test renders I did, but I'm putting sort of a robot waitress in Quinn Redshift in one of the scenes. And I don't know if I still have the picture or if I would have to dig through Facebook to find it. Let's see. Oh hell. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to dig through Facebook to find it, but it's very sort of like the robot is clearly meant to look feminine, has like these sort of like rosy esque arms, like in the Jetsons that are holding up the tray,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah, 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 yeah. Mhm.
that kind of thing. What one single wheel as the propulsion, so it's sort of like roller skates but a unicycle kind of thing. And I got where did I put that? Hopefully I can find it because it was cool looking. Maybe it's in there. Well, I'll keep looking. You can, you know,
I'm
talk amongst yourselves.
move beef. I'm trying to see. Okay, yeah, here we are. We got a little thingy do going like that. So it is more or less like the Rosie the robot, the Jetsons thing.
What is
What you're describing.
the robot that I'm
Yeah,
talking about?
yeah.
What did you like
She
digging for it somewhere?
Well, she was on one wheel. I could not remember whether or not the Jetsons robot was on a wheel or a cylinder, but it turns out that she was
Oh,
on a
you're
wheel.
talking about Rosie. You're not talking about the robot I created.
Right, right. No, when you started talking about the one wheel there, I'm thinking, gee, did Rosie the robot have one wheel or a cylinder? And it turns out she had a wheel.
Actually, she had multiple wheels.
Ah, move beef.
Like she has this one weird housing looking thing, but underneath it there's like I want to say 4 or 5, maybe even 6 wheels.
Moo. Okay. Yay.
Yeah. Um
I guess it depends on who's drawing it, because I see a few different ones. Yeah.
yeah. I actually tried to recreate that thing in 3D and it didn't really come out right, which is why I switched to the sort of vaguely unicycle-esque thing I did. Now I'm pretty sure I posted pictures of that in 2020, and if it wasn't, it was probably late 2019. So it should be easy enough to find, unless I posted it in somewhere other than my own personal page, which is possible.
Okay, so you posted it in that show with Barbara Walters, right?
I have no idea what you're talking about, and I really don't care because it's a reference from a long time ago.
2020 isn't that old.
Eh, still,
Yeah, you can hit me over the head with a frying pan or something. I don't know.
I did post a lot of crap, didn't I?
Oh, yeah.
Uh, I'm not even sure I'm in like October yet.
Oh, yoy.
Oh wait, I'm at least at June because that's around about when I got the Switch. So, uh, seriously, if you have another topic, bring it up because at the moment it's going to take me a while to find this thing. I mean, right now I'm in the section where I was using the Face App thing like almost constantly.
Oops.
So
Well, I don't know. I may be running out of stuff. I'm not sure.
I still think that when I made Ray from Ghostbusters look female with Face App, kind of cute actually. I can't,
Okay.
but cute for sure. Like, oh, it's the you've seen it, right?
Yes, I have.
Do you remember it though?
Um, I mean, I don't have a photographic memory of it or anything like that. I do remember it was cute, effeminate, etc., etc., etc.
Okay. Did I put it under Ghostbusters or Face Swap? Well, there's Firefly. Where the hell is one for Ghostbusters? Let me search for it. Ghostbusters. There it is. Let's
Oh my.
see. Where's share? Present now. A window and bada bing, bada bang, bada fuko. There you go.
Okay then. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now I remember you showing me that. Actually, Aykroyd doesn't look too bad as a girl. Um,
Really? No, wait. That's who we're talking about. Aykroyd plays Ray.
oh. I had the wrong character name. Okay, I was thinking that.
What? Peter Venkman?
Not Venkman. Okay, in this set of four
Venk-
pictures, who is below Ray?
That would be Egon.
I was confusing Ray and Egon. Okay.
Nah, I heard a lot of people say that Egon was cute, but not my type.
Mm,
But I think seriously, like Ray there is like I say, I can only say cute. I can't say hot.
okay.
And I have to say Winston kind of looks like this is someone who would be a top hit singer in the 80s. You know, like would do duets with Whitney Houston and shit. You know what I mean?
Okay then.
That's what I'm getting from Winston there. But anyway,
Oh my, oh my, oh my. Yeah, I have to say I love what you did with my picture though. I'm still using that as my icon.
yeah,
Oh
well,
man. It's
fair
just
enough.
too bad I couldn't have had that, like 40 years ago, on
Well,
in the flesh. But what are you
mhm.
gonna do?
I don't know. 40 years ago, I was almost five. So,
Oh my. 40 years ago, I was just married. I got married
mm,
when I was 23. One of my more prominent mistakes. Um, you just don't get married in order to run away from home. Okay, it doesn't work.
did that, did you?
Yep, it's what it is.
Did not know that was your motivation. Although I suppose thinking about it now, I'm not super shocked.
Hmm.
But still,
Yeah, somebody showed a little bit of an interest, and it was okay. Jump at this, it'll get me out of the house too. It's okay.
mm,
Oh, Papa Rodier. And Travis asks, "Am I going to cook a Thanksgiving meal?" Yeah, actually, I am. Um, and what I'm going to try to do is film while I'm cooking it, and hopefully my power supply won't blow up this time,
mm.
because it's amazing. I ended up paying $70 for a AC to DC converter for my video camera.
Hmm.
This damn thing cost $70.
Well, I kind of like ACDC.
Muff beef.
And
Oh my, Mage Grey Wolf was 1 years old 40 years ago.
Wowzers.
Oh my, yeah, I had started to cook the chicken paprikash, filming that, and then the damn thing blew up.
I
I
can't believe I didn't put that on the list.
what?
Chicken paprikash.
Oh, okay, moo.
Of all the things, yeah. So,
Well, I know, unfortunately, that you just don't do well with sour cream, but
Ugh.
I can't get enough of this stuff. I really can't. I mean, I'll make another chicken paprikash just so I can film it and then eat it. But I'll do that next week or the week after, something like that.
Okay.
Because, like I say, at the last minute, I decided that I was going to roast that turkey. The one with the tag that said best used by June of 2020. Yeah.
Hmm.
Mhm.
That was months ago.
Yep.
Man, I am shocked that I can't find this picture.
It's hiding.
Yeah, I think I've gone back far enough that I guess I didn't post it here. Oh well. I mean, I suppose I could fire up 3ds Max and just render out another shot, but wow.
Oh my, this is amazing. Oh, okay. No, we have five watching. Okay. The other.
Speaking of which, I may have to go soon just because I'm getting to the point where I'm a little bit on the hungry side.
Well, I can understand that one. And eventually, I'm going to have to take care of Thomas over there in the refrigerator. Um, Tom,
Did you name the tree?
Thomas J. Turkey. You know, like you have
Uh,
Tom Turkeys. Yeah. And yeah,
wait, Tom. Wait. Tom J?
a Tom is a male turkey.
Pretty sure that's a male cat, dear.
Last I checked, there was also a male turkey. Let me check. There we go. Palikise.
Or,
What's that?
it says or gobbler.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think, well, using gobbler's better, frankly.
Okay. Do you know why the male turkey is often referred to as Tom Turkey? Rumor has it that Ben Franklin was mad at Thomas Jefferson for opposing his idea to have the turkey as our national bird. So good old Ben mockingly called the turkey Tom after Mr. Jefferson. I wonder how true that is.
I'm actually pretty glad that the turkey is not our national bird right now, because boy, would that give those who don't like us a certain amount of ammo.
Oh yes.
I'm just saying, it would be a little too on the nose.
I'm still saying that Trump pardoned the turkey in order to set a precedent such that he could pardon himself.
Yeah, I don't think you can do that. Besides, the president still he cannot be pardoned by the president for crimes that aren't federal.
Indeed, indeed he does.
So, I mean, I still want to see him go to prison because
Oh,
he can't.
absolutely. Yeah.
I want to see. Seriously, I know I said it before. I'll say it again. I want to see a good perp walk.
Yeah, I got cheated out of that stuff last time around. I want to see it go this time. I mean, Nixon got off. I don't want to see Trump get off.
Yeah, but I mean, if there wasn't a perp walk, then doesn't count, does it?
Right.
I don't
It
know.
would
And I
it,
am finding this picture.
it would be just so great to see to know that Trump was rotting in prison and would probably die there.
Well, that and thinking he's probably someone's bitch.
Yeah, there you go.
I
Picked up the
mean,
soap.
yeah. See, now, how come no one ever thought, hey, I know, I'll squat for the soap instead of bending over?
There you go.
You'd think someone somewhere would have thunk of that, but apparently not. Well, and again, I guess you could be kind of on the stupid side if you landed yourself in prison. Maybe. I know there's
Maybe.
smart people in prison too, but I'm not sure that they are the majority of the prison population. You know,
Well, one thing I can tell you with absolute certainty is that atheists are not the majority of the prison population.
there is that. That's because we have to have a conscience.
Absolutely. Oh my word. I mean, not
Yeah,
only in raw numbers, but per capita. Jeez, man.
well, it's something that you don't hear religious people like talking about much. Is they always say, well, you're an atheist just because you want to be immoral, and it's like, well, can't be too immoral or the people around me are going to get kind of pissy,
Hmm.
and I don't exactly want that. So, you know, I'm probably not going to go around sinning that much unless I can get people to agree to it beforehand.
Okay then.
We'll all be having a good time. But if they say no, I have empathy for my fellows, and therefore I won't treat them poorly. Imagine.
Moo.
But
Keep writing those down. Anyway, oh my, oh my. It's so much falls flat on its face when you look at it and actually pay
what
attention to
is?
it.
What is?
So many of their arguments fall flat in their faces when you pay attention to them. You know, like we
What
want
was?
to, we want,
What was the? What
we
was the
love.
thing about someone's nose, though?
Oh, fall flat on their noses.
I guess I don't know. It was, I'm just saying it was garbled, and I didn't get it all.
Oh, okay. That's
Then
the only thing I can think of is that fall on their
well,
noses.
it sounded like you had said something about running into a wall with their noses, but maybe fall was what I heard as wall.
Fall into a wall.
Yeah, well,
There you go. And have a
is.
ball. You know. I'm just being
Yeah.
silly.
Is that what that was?
I am the silly person. Yes, I am.
Okay. Gosh, I don't know how far back I'm gonna have to. Oh, I'm nowhere near this picture if I post it on Twitter. Oy, I'll never find it.
Oh no, it's hidden. It's gone. It's hiding away from you.
No, it's not that. I mean, I think I can. I think there's one more place on Facebook I might find it. All right, let's have a look. See.
Ta próżnia.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Go back one. Oh, hey, what do you know? These are posts. Aha! I done found it.
Oh, you find it. Okay.
Okay, copy image, posteroo. Now, present window.
No.
Sun. Yes, I am the Viper. I come to wipe the windows.
That is for you. Yes.
So there's my robot waitress there.
That's the other thing I wonder about. Why is it when you're looking at the sort of Jetson-esque future things and everything else, everything has to have those rings, like the kind that are around the bar stools?
Yeah. Well, it's part of the trope, isn't it?
Yeah, and I wonder how it got to be that way.
I don't know, and honestly, I don't really care because honestly, my animation is festooned in them, and there's more than a few fins on things too.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Oh
I
man,
sort of Googie and ray gun gothic look.
that's the thing that every time I see the Elon Musk spacecraft, that Crew Dragon or whatever they call it.
Sure,
Um,
sure.
I see the spacecraft from the puppet program called Fireball XL5, which was a television program when I was about 5 years old. It was one of those Jerry Anderson things.
Yeah, see, okay, Colleen, Futurama has a Jetsons vibe to it. So um, I was going for Jetsons less than Futurama because Jetsons came first.
Oh yeah, by a
So
long shot.
yeah,
Help,
I mean,
Jane!
it,
Stop this crazy thing!
it is funny to me though how many people default to Futurama, even though Futurama was aping sci-fi from a long ass time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Eh. But anyway, like I said, I am the hungries, so I'm gonna make
Okay.
a bacon head out.
All right, hon. And let's see. Yeah, at some point, I guess on Thursday, I'll see you a little bit here and there, right? Hopefully.
Um, most likely, I just need to know what people's schedules are. Right now, I don't even know when the family Zoom call is yet. So,
Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean, family and everything else that comes first. So all that good stuff. And
yes.
I've got to find out. Junk Shop Library has mental health Thursdays, and I had not realized that his mental health Thursday and my Thanksgiving stream were originally scheduled to start at exactly the same time. So he had said something about possibly moving, and I had said something about possibly moving. We'll have to work that one out and see what happens. But
Well, it seems weird to me that he has mental health Thursdays. The rest of the week, he's sort of a gibbering wreck who needs a straitjacket.
yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Anyway, I'll catch you later. Have fun.
Take care, hon. Yay. Okay, and there we are. We're on to the couple things in my ugly mug over here. How's this doing? Yay. Okay, we got that. And it's looking like crap. It always messes up with this, but that's okay. Because I think we're kind of low on peoples. Oh, somehow we got up to 5 peoples. That's more than we had originally. Yeah, we have 6 watching now. Oh my, it's amazing how everybody keeps coming back for more. I don't get it. I really don't. And yeah, as a couple people had said earlier, I'm gonna have to see what I can do about rearranging things and possibly modifying things, and maybe even making the open chat resemble an open chat. We'll have to find out. We'll have to see what we can do about that, because that would be fun. That would be fun if we could have guests on here and just talk about stuff and things and stuff. And what am I talking about? I have no freaking idea. I never know what I'm talking about. But yeah, Travis, I'm gonna make a Thanksgiving meal. I'm brining a turkey right now, and I'll bake a butternut squash, and there's also a little thing I make, which is roasted potato wedges with rosemary and garlic and olive oil, and it's yummy and tasty. Good stuff. It's something my ex got me started on, and she took off, but I still do the taters and stuff like that, and yeah, we'll come up with. Oh yay! Okay, so Mage is going to invest in that Lapelmick. Yep. Yeah, I know. I'm weird. Oh my, oh my, oh my. But what we're gonna do here, because yeah, it's I'm looking at things and stuff. Okay, 3 hours 36 minutes. Yeah, we're doing pretty good with that stuff and everything. And what I think I may end up doing. I've got a turkey to tend to. He's thawing out, and I'll replace the salt and put some more water in with him and stick him in the defibrinator and see if we can do that. So I hope you guys will be able to be around Thursday. I really do. I'd love to have you around. Kate might show up a little bit here and there. I think Purple said he might come by. Any of you guys want to come by? I got no problem with letting you on. You just let's try not to hijack the talk. I'm a little bit gun shy here and there. I've had live streams hijacked on me and things have gone south, and maybe that's why I'm a little bit gun shy. But we'll give it a shot. See if we can work with it, and see if it can go better than it has in the past. Okay, and yeah, I'm going to start on Thursday. Originally, I was going to start at 3 p.m. Eastern. I may still do that. We'll find out. I'll get hold of Junk Shop, see what he wants to do, or they want to do. I'm sorry. Yeah, because Junk Shop's not binary. If Junk Shop's going to move, if I'm going to move, I don't know. If I don't start at 3, I will start at 4. And we'll go with that stuff and see what kind of things we can get going. And I'm going to run until we run. I mean, I would not be surprised if the live stream would be going until midnight. You know, that would not surprise me at all. So, you know, we can be ready for that, and we can be ready to have people around, and yay! Oh, it's fun. It's a whole shitload of fun to have people around. Now, I assume that most of you people have Twitter accounts. I'm going to have to look up and see where your Twitter accounts are so I can send links to come on. We will straighten that out. We'll straighten that out Thursday. And then yeah, I can have a plate with a turkey leg, and maybe you guys can have whatever you're gonna eat for dinner, and yeah, it'll be all kinds of fun. I like that. Oh my! So in the meantime, got stuff to do. So I want to thank everybody who's here, and I want to thank everybody who's not here. You folks are just totally amazing. I am so thankful that you guys put up with me. And maybe that's what we can celebrate for Thanksgiving. I can be nice and thankful that you actually come here to hear me, and Kate, and sometimes even Mom Nato when she shows up. And it's just great being here for you guys, and every time you keep liking us, I'll keep doing it. Oh my, your old mic is from 1998. Wow. Oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my. It's amazing how long ago 1998 was and how recent 1998 was. So, okay. In the meantime, I love you guys. I really do. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming by every time. Makes a girl feel wanted. Thank you. And in the meantime, I guess what I can do is I can say, thanks a lot, troops. See you on the other side. Thursday!